Your mother took money that she had been saving for you from your paycheck.
So that I could get out on my own again and get an apartment. We ended up yelling at each other.
I asked her at least 5 or 6 times to just please be quiet.
She kicked me out at that point then too, so.
Well, that's nasty. It seems to me that rather than picking a fight with her, you should be proud of her.
This is Judy Just. Shanice Eckstein is suing her mother, Jessica Lawrenson, for stolen money and assault.
Court come to order. All rise.
Judge Judy enters.
Have a seat, please.
Kevin.
Case 3112, Eckstein versus Lawrenson.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Miss Eckstein, the defendant is your mom,
Yes.
and there are several parts of your complaint, but the primary part of your complaint is that your mother took money that she had been saving for you.
Yes, ma'am.
And refused to give it to you when you left her home.
Yes.
And mother says that you owed her that money she doesn't deny that she saved money for you, it was your money, but that she says that you didn't contribute as you should have to the household when you were living there, and she has a counterclaim, and that counterclaim is that while you were living there, your cats caused some damage to her sofa.
Yes, correct.
By the way, if you take a look at each other, it's so funny for a stranger to you, look at you, and you can look at your mom and see what you're going to look like in a while. I'm looking at your face. You don't see it.
No, ma'am, and I don't want to.
Well, I'm just telling you from a stranger's perspective, sometimes my children don't see the same thing that I do, and I don't see it all the time. But I looked at the two of you, and it's...
We've gotten it a lot. It happens. It sure does.
It does it?
It does. It has.
It does? And your mom probably likes it when somebody says, oh, is that your sister?
She probably does.
She probably does. Okay, so right now, you and your mom are on the outs. That may be forever. It may not be forever. Certainly, from what I read of your complaint, when you hit a bad spot in your life, you went back to your mom.
That's false. This was the only time that I'd actually done that.
When you hit a bad spot, I just said one spot.
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
When you hit a bad spot in your life, you went home to your mom.
Yes.
And she let you come home.
Yes.
First, tell me a little about yourself, Miss Eckstein. How old are you?
I'm 26. I am a branch manager at a financial place. I do taxes and loans, so pretty standard.
Did you graduate high school?
I did. I graduated high school. I did 2 years at the Milwaukee Institute of Art and Design. Didn't finish there, but still love art, you know.
And how old were you when you left home?
I was 18.
And where did you go?
I went to the dorms where I was living there for school for a bit.
Okay. Your mom, I assume, since she has younger kids, that they're your half-siblings.
Yes.
Okay. How old are your other children?
They are 4, 5, and then I have a 17, an 18, and then 26.
Okay. When you went off to college, you got student loans to do that?
Yes.
And you were there for a couple of years and left. Tell me why you left school.
I was not doing well mentally. I actually started there living in the dorms and then coming back home. At the time, it was about a half-an-hour drive. I worked in my hometown, and then I went to school in Milwaukee. So it was about a half-hour drive. I'd come back on the weekends and work. In that process, I would stay at her house on the weekends, but I wasn't able to continue to do that, actually, because she kicked me out at that point then, too. So this is reoccurring.
So that would make you about 20.
At that time, I think I was 19 and a half-ish going on, around, close.
Close to 20. And you had a falling out with your mom then?
Yes.
Okay, not important as to why. And then you were on your own. Tell me when you went back to your mom's house and under what circumstances?
So in April of 2023, I lost my job due to them closing offices. So I just wasn't able to.
Were you continuously working from the time you were 20?
Yes.
And you left school?
Yes, not the same job, but yes.
But yes, and you were living by yourself?
Yes.
And paying your own rent?
Yes.
You have a car?
Yes.
Buy it yourself?
No, but I guess technically it wasn't a loan, but it was from like a family that I was paying them. So yes.
Okay.
Title's in my name, yes.
Yeah, so you bought it. So when you were 20, you were on your own, self-supporting.
Yes.
But not bad. I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
Not bad. Today's day and age, that is a big not bad to be 20 and on your own.
Yeah.
So you lost your job.
Yes. So essentially I was working at this job since 2020, I believe it was, so about 3 years at this point, and they decided they were going to close all of the surrounding offices where I was and then the ones around it, so I didn't really have many options. So they gave me severance. I left. I was working on severance, or I was waitressing on the side getting severance, and then I also received unemployment during that time as well to just continue with my rent that I had with the lease.
Okay, and then?
So, I'm sorry, and then I went, I was, getting unemployment. It started to short out a little bit around August. It was getting a little bit difficult to pay my rent, so I decided that it would be easiest to not do that anymore. I moved in with my mother, asked if she could help me at that time of need, yes.
And she said yes.
And she said yes. Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so tell me, so you moved back home
So
with your mom, and I assume between 2 and 4 siblings.
Yeah, well, I mean, there was 2 originally. One is in college right now, and then the other one ended up moving back as well.
The 17-year-old.
Yes,
So is back home
Yes.
with the 4 and 5-year-old.
as far as I know, yes.
Is that right?
Correct.
And you live there with your husband
Correct.
and 4, 5, and 17-year-old.
Yes.
So you moved back in April?
No, I lost my job in April, moved back around August. So it was, the news happened in August that it was going to be an eviction otherwise. So I realized that I wanted to avoid that, obviously, on my record. So I reached out to her in a moment of panic. She helped me out. I had my stuff moved in within days.
Great.
Caption coming up.
Why were you annoyed with her?
It was midnight, and I had asked her if she had been at her friend's for a couple days, why she couldn't have ate before she came home.
Did you texted that to her?
I texted that to her.
Well, that's nasty.
Jessica lowers her eyes. A courthouse. The Judy Justice logo appears. In the courtroom, Shanice and Jessica.
Shanice Eckstein claims her mother, Jessica Lawrenson, assaulted her and stole money she received from Shanice. Jessica is countersuing for the cost of a couch.
Okay, according to you, the deal was that you would work, which you did. I mean,
Yes.
Got another job.
Yes.
You moved in August. When did you get another job?
Right away, it was actually, I moved in like halfway through August, somewhere in the near September. So I got a job immediately on, it was September 19th was my first day.
Are you still there?
Yes.
What kind of work is it?
Taxes and loans.
That's what I thought you said. And you started to give your mom money from your paycheck
Immediately.
for.
To save for me so that I could get out on my own again and get an apartment.
How come you didn't put it in a bank?
I should have. Hindsight, but my bank was out in Fond du Lac, so it was just a far drive, and my work issued me a payroll card, so that's what I was using at the time, and she actually insisted that I give her the money rather than, so that I can't have access to it, basically, because she thinks that I wouldn't have the ability to not spend it, basically. So that was the point.
Okay, and you were saving the money for her.
Correct.
How much did you save for her?
We saved, I think there was $1,800 in there. And I did ask her several times to go and open up a bank account.
Okay, but you said you saved $1,800. That was $1,800.
That's
Was it in a
incorrect.
bank account?
No, I had it set aside in an envelope that said Shanice's savings on it.
So it's somewhere between $1,800 and $2,500.
I have it actually in my evidence. I have all my pay stubs, and then I also have all of my bank statements showing when I pulled money out. That all add up to $2,600. And then I also have my, there was also like a note that I kept in my phone to save every time that I pulled out and gave her money so that I could keep track of it. So,
Okay. Do you have any documentation of how much money she gave you?
It was written on an envelope at home. I don't have
But
that.
the answer is no.
No.
Okay, so I'd like to see
yes, ma'am. Give me 1 second.
from your phone. That would be most helpful.
I don't have it on my phone. It's right here. So this is the beginning of it. This is the savings. And then throughout, you'll get the bank statements first. And then right after, immediately, is all of my pay stubs.
Shanice hands documents to Kevin, who brings them to Judy. She reviews them.
Savings at Mom's, I have $2,300.
That's because she also borrowed $200 from me for, I'm assuming, my brother's car payment at the time. I also have that in text messages of her borrowing that.
Well, let me see the text
Yes,
message
ma'am.
of that, please.
Shanice hands another document to Kevin, who brings it to Judy. She reviews it.
Yes, you remember borrowing $200 from her?
So I had asked her, yes.
Yes, you remember that?
Yes.
Okay, that's $2,500. Okay, then there came a time when you had a problem.
Yes.
Tell me when that was.
I left her house on the night of, it was November 24th. I came back on November 25th around 11:30. I went out to see some friends in Fond du Lac. So she actually sent me with some plates for Thanksgiving to give to my friends. So everything was all cordial and fine at the time of me leaving on Friday night. Came back on Saturday night, and initially it started with a text message I sent my brother. I asked him if he wanted to split a pizza. I was coming home, just to hang out with him. He told me he wasn't home. So I texted my mother and I asked her where's Joe? And she told me that he was out with friends, whatever, but she was being very short with me. There's just very short responses. I was asking her if she had a problem. She said no. I said, okay. So I got home and she had an attitude with me still. So I addressed it. I said, what's the problem? And it ended up raising voices. We ended up yelling at each other.
Okay.
Yes.
So stop. So tell me what happened. Why were you annoyed with her?
So in the text messages, I had asked her, it was midnight, and I had asked her if she had been at her friend's for a couple days, why she couldn't have ate before she came home, because we had the little one sleeping, and my significant other sleeps out in the living room because of just sleeping arrangements with the little kids. And I asked her that, and she said, I don't know what your problem is. And then when she got home, it just turned into something more.
I don't understand what you're...
May I say something?
Just a second.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm not following you.
So she texted me and asked where Joe was.
She left on a Friday.
Yep. To go up to Fond du Lac.
And she was coming home on Saturday.
Correct.
What time?
She texted me, it was about 11:30, saying that she was about 15 minutes out.
11:30 in the evening.
Correct.
So she gave you a heads up that she was out. She had her own key, right?
Correct.
Yes.
Yes.
So that's fine.
Yes.
And then she said she was hungry. Mm-hmm. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay, so she said she was hungry, and your response was, why didn't you eat with your friends? Mm-hmm. Because why you want to eat when you come home?
Yeah, my boyfriend does get up at 4:30 in the morning, and she knows that, so I just thought it was like, why couldn't this be taken care of before you came home instead of at midnight? Because it kind of disrupts the house, I guess.
You must have had a bad day with somebody that day. That's not something that I would actually say to one of my children. I'm just letting you know.
Well, right.
I'm just letting you know. You might have just had a bad day. Who was this?
This is my mother-in-law, Diane.
I mean, she had somebody who was responsible. She texted you that she was coming home. She clearly knew that you would be up if she texted you, because you probably stay up late.
Right.
And sometimes more than I used to get. I'm on my way home 15 minutes out. What? I would say, what kind of medication are you on? Telling me 26 years old and telling me...
We've just had talks before, about just the times of arriving at home and, with the kids sleeping and Josh in the living room. It was just, I think, more of just a respect thing. That was all.
But not a big deal.
No.
Doesn't sound like a big deal to me. Mm-mm. So then what happened when she got home?
So she came in the house and she said, when she opened up the door.
No, look at me.
When she opened up the door, she said, what's your problem? When she first walked in.
Well, what had you responded to her? Had you said to her, why didn't she eat with your friends? Had you texted that to her?
I texted that to her.
Well, that's nasty. Okay. So she came in, then she said, what's your problem? Mm-hmm. And then?
And she kept getting louder, and I asked her at least 5 or 6 times to just please be quiet. The little ones were sleeping.
Is that the way it went? I mean...
That is the way it went.
Caption, coming up.
You keep your fingers crossed that your 17, 18, 4 and 5-year-olds turn out as articulately and independently as your 26-year-old. Rather than picking a fight with her, you should be proud of her.
Jessica lowers her eyes. A courthouse. The Judy Justice logo appears. In the courtroom, Shanice and Jessica.
Shanice Eckstein is accusing her mother, Jessica Lornson, of stealing her money while they live together. Jessica is countersuing, claiming Shanice's cats ruined her couch.
Okay, she was getting louder because you were saying what?
She just kept saying, what's your problem? What's your problem? Why are you angry? Like, what's your problem? And it kept getting louder, and I asked.
And what did you answer? Just a second. So what did she ask what your problem was? Because it was a curt sort of text. And what did you respond to her?
I just asked her to lower her tone at first, and it just kept escalating and escalating.
No, but did you answer her?
I did not.
Why?
Because I answered her in the text message, that's all.
That's incorrect.
What did you...
I just said, why can't you eat before you come home? I know it's
just a second. Well, that I know, but now she's home. And she said to you, what's your problem?
I just think it's just how she approached me. That's all, ma'am. I don't.
Had you had a fight with your boyfriend?
No, we actually get along really well.
Okay. And then it escalated. Is that right?
Yes.
And you left.
Yes. Well, actually, I would like to also mention that they were both awake in the kitchen, or I'm sorry, in the living room watching TV when I got home. They were both still awake, actually.
Both your mom and her boyfriend?
Yes, both my mom and her boyfriend were awake. The kids were sleeping, but they were out in the living room with the dogs and everything. Everyone was hanging out. That's the setting. And I would also like to note that my 17-year-old brother was also out and not even returned home yet, was driving her car at the time. I came back at a reasonable time, let her know with my own car. So that's setting the scene, clearing that up.
Is there anything that your daughter just said that is
Yes, Josh
inaccurate?
was actually sleeping on the couch until she came in the first, like, when it started getting loud, he woke up.
She said he was out.
No, my son was out. My 17-year-old
Your
was out.
17-year-old
Correct.
was out. Where was he?
At a friend's. He was hanging out.
Was he
there.
coming home?
Yes,
So your daughter came home before he did.
correct.
How do you get along with your mother's boyfriend?
He's a really nice guy, actually. I'm very happy that he is around her. I was hoping that it would make her a little bit of a better person, but I do like him. He's a good guy.
Now, going over the numbers, Miss Lawrenson, you saved $2,500 of your daughter's pay, and that was your understanding that you were saving it for her. You indicated it was in an envelope. It was in an envelope with her name on it. She left. I don't care what the circumstances were of her leaving. That's her money.
Right. I did ask her, the original agreement when she moved in was to contribute to groceries.
No.
Contribute to groceries to help out with, like, household stuff. Our utility bills did go up, and I had to talk with her out in our garage, asking her if she can contribute a little bit. I literally live week to week, paycheck to paycheck. And I asked her if she'd help me. She said she would.
Okay, but you asked her to help you. She never did. She just gave you money to save for her.
Correct.
Well, then you owe her $2,500. That's her money. That's her money. That's not a contract. Can you help out with the groceries? Can you help out with the utility bills? That's not a contract. I'm going to save your money for you so you can move out and be on your own. That's a contract. So you have to give her back her money. Money owed for damaged property. You've got one couch,
Correct.
and it's a leather couch.
Correct.
Have you had that couch since you had your 4- and 5-year-old?
Yes.
So you have a 4- and 5-year-old that use that couch and sit on that couch and play with that couch. Now I want you to show me a picture of how you say her cat or cats destroyed the couch.
Okay. There is
Jessica hands photos to Kevin.
these four here. And it's on the arms, on each of the arms, and then on the bottom footrest.
Judy reviews them.
No, this is a worn couch.
I know the
That's
seats are, yes.
Oh, come on. What, are you kidding me? Miss Lawrenson, all I can do is suggest to you that you keep your fingers crossed that your 17, 18, 4- and 5-year-olds turn out as articulately and independently as your 26-year-old. I wish you good luck with that, but it seems to me that rather than picking a fight with her, you should be proud of her. She's been on her own for a very long time, taking care of herself, seemingly responsibly, and you were short with her. You were short with her that day. It was an unloving, that text to her about why can't you eat with your friends was an unloving, non-maternal response. You understand?
Yes.
Good. So you owe your daughter $2,500. She owes you nothing. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,500.
Thank you.
This court is adjourned.
Outside the courtroom, Jessica, then Shanice.
I feel that I didn't get to speak on everything and that I wasn't heard.
Honestly, very grateful.
I was honest in my statement and had all my evidence.
Just very grateful and ready to be done with all of this. Wiping my slate clean, absolutely done.
Just if she would have read all, like, the details that I had with the dates, the times, just things that Shanice and I have been through in the past.
Probably one of the hardest things that I've ever done, but I had to do it. So we did it, and we're here, and I'm done.
She owes me more money, $500 for an electric bill that she never paid me.
She never loaned me any money in the first place, so she's holding on to something that doesn't exist, and that's unfortunate for her.
It hurts. It does.
Because it's been a long time coming. It's been years of her putting me down and just being the thing that stands in my way of my full potential, and I don't know what the reason is.
I don't want nothing to do with her.
Finally, I had to just stop because I have a life to live.
I've given it a lot of thought.
I hope she lives the best life she can.
No, she's burned her bridges.
I hope I never have to cross paths with her again.
Judy and Sarah.
I was really impressed by that young woman.
Yeah, seemed like she had it all figured out from a pretty young age, responsible, taking care of herself.
Paid her rent, bought a car,
Yeah.
paid it off, texted her mother, I'm on the road, I'll be home in 15 minutes.
Yeah, overly accommodating and understanding. It's just unfortunate. I know she probably, all she wanted was her mother to acknowledge all of those things as positives, you know, and having a
Yeah.
daughter that accomplished that much at such a young age.
Yeah,
I'd want my parents to acknowledge and celebrate that, and I feel like she didn't get that, unfortunately.
yeah. Sad.
Yeah. At least she got her money back, though.
Title, Judy Justice.
Are you a victim of a scam? Go to judyjustice.tv.
The defendant assaulted you,
She just lunged at me like this, and she scratched my face, calling me names and stuff.
drunk and belligerent.
I put my hands up and I said, don't get up in my face. She started screaming, she's attacking me.
That's not true, Your Honor.
Your cousins.
Yes, ma'am.
This is Judy Justice. Lisa Proctor is suing her cousin, Anita Lewis, for hotel costs, phone bills, and an assault.
Court come to order. All rise.
Judge Judy enters.
Have a seat, please.
Case 3160, Proctor versus Lewis.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Judge Judy dons glasses.
Miss Proctor, how are the two of you related? Your cousins?
Yes, Your Honor. we're
How cousins? First cousins?
First cousins. She's on my dad's side.
And you and some friends were planning a trip to Dubai.
Actually, it was my cousin's girlfriend's 60th birthday celebration in Dubai.
It's a long way.
Yes, 14 hours.
And you invited Miss Lewis to join you
Yes, I did.
on the trip.
Yes.
Tell me why.
They had an extra seat, and I asked her, and she said yes.
Okay. And you went to Dubai when?
December 28th, we left.
When were you supposed to return?
January 4th.
That's a long trip for a few days.
Yes.
It is your claim that while there and while intoxicated, the defendant assaulted you.
Yes, Your Honor.
The two of you were sharing a room. As a result of that assault, you felt uncomfortable about staying in the room with her. You got another room.
Yes.
You want her to compensate you for those expenses.
Yes.
The defendant says you're making a mountain out of a molehill, that it never happened. She was arrested in a foreign country. You made a false police report.
That's not true, Your Honor. I'm sorry.
And she has a counterclaim. I don't quite understand what the counterclaim is. I've read it, but I don't understand it. You'll tell me about it. When you left on December 28th or December 29th,
28.
the two of you were sharing a room.
Yes.
And I want you to tell me approximately what time did you check into the room? Do you remember on the 28th? Was it the 28th or the 29th?
It was the 29th around 3 p.m. in Dubai's time.
And you were going out that evening.
Yes.
Had you been drinking?
I had 2 beers.
The answer is yes.
Yes.
Had you been drinking?
Yes, we all have been drinking.
So everybody was drinking?
Yes.
Had you started drinking on the plane?
Yes, we had drinks on the plane. Yes.
Had you started drinking on the plane?
Yes.
Did anybody bring alcohol with them to the hotel?
Yes, we did, Your Honor.
What did you bring with you to the hotel?
I had vodka.
And what did you bring with you to the hotel?
I had beer and a bottle of vodka.
Now, why don't you tell me about the events of the 29th?
So when we landed in Dubai and checked into the hotel room. Everything was fine. So later that evening, we were going on a yacht party where
What
all
time?
white. It was 9 o'clock.
And during the afternoon, it would be a fair statement that everybody was in a festive mood, and there were a couple of more drinks that you had.
Not really. We were really tired because it was a 14-hour flight. I know I didn't have a
course.
drink in the hotel at all.
Did you?
I had 2 beers in my
Okay.
room.
Before you left to go on the yacht trip?
Yes.
Okay, that's
So we proceeded to go on the trip. Everybody was excited about going on the yacht trip. It was our first night there. It was beautiful. We were having a good time. They had drinks, but some people just drank more than others. We were all up front taking pictures and everything, and what had happened was I saw Michelle, when I proceeded to go to the back of the yacht, I saw Michelle. I didn't get up too much because, it was wobbling around. So I saw her dancing, gyrating on the floor and everything like that. So next thing I know, I went back to the front of the yacht, and the man handed me her purse. He was on a yacht with his son, and he handed me her purse. I was like, oh, what's going on? So next thing I know...
Just a second. Did you know how he came into possession of her purse?
I have no idea.
So he handed you her purse?
Yes.
What did you do with her purse?
I gave it to her. She had a purse.
Oh, you gave it?
She had a purse.
Okay, so you gave it back to her?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Keep going.
So then after that, we proceeded to go home. So when the limo driver picked us up to take us back to the hotel room, she was irate and belligerent, and we already knew you can't be loud in that country, you can't curse and things of that sort, because as soon as you land in the airport, it's quiet, and they tell you that. So she was in a limo yelling and screaming. I was like, Michelle, calm down. You was like, you don't tell me what to do. I was like, I had enough. So then when we got to the hotel room, I was just tired of her being loud and belligerent. So I just went to my room, put my robe on, and ordered a meal. After I ordered the meal, she came into the room and she just lunged at me like this, and she scratched my face. And I was like, I thought I was dreaming. I was like, hold up. She scratched my face. I grabbed her arms because I didn't want to get loud. I didn't want to fight over there. And I threw her on the bed. Once I threw her on the bed, I didn't say anything. I threw my clothes on quickly. And next thing you know, she was taunting me, calling me names and stuff, saying I was dirty, ugly, and everything like that. So she left out the room.
Okay.
So then I proceeded to go. I didn't talk to her at all. I went to the front desk. I called my cousin, and then I started to break down upset. So the concierge asked me, did I want to call the police? I told him I needed another room. I didn't feel safe staying with my cousin, and I felt as though like I was battered. You know, I didn't feel safe at all.
Okay. And?
So then after that, he called the police. I'm sorry, he called the police. I called my cousin, she didn't answer. So I was in the hotel lobby talking to the concierge. And then later on, she came down to the concierge's office.
Where you were?
Yes.
Okay. And?
And after that, the police were called. She saw the scratches on my face. Michelle came down somehow or another, and that's where I would like her to speak to let you know what happened.
So what she's going to testify to is that she saw scratches on your face.
Yes.
I assume you took a picture of that.
No, I did not. No, I did not. Because it was all new to me. No, I did not.
Well, that's sort of silly.
Lisa shifts her weight. Text appears coming up.
Lisa lunged towards me. I had on the same style nails. I held my hand up. I said, don't get up in my face. And at that point, my nail poked her. She started screaming, she's attacking me.
Lisa shakes her head. Text appears, Judy Justice. Clips of trains flash. An American flag flutters at the top of a building.
Lisa Proctor claims her cousin, Anita Lewis, owes for hotel costs, phone bills, and an assault during a trip to Dubai. Anita is countersuing Lisa for filing a false police report.
Other than your cousin's testimony, is there any police report or anything else?
Well, I did. The police was called. I
you
have
have-
paper from, this is from recovery when I called the hotel.
Kevin retrieves papers from Lisa and brings them to Judge Judy.
Okay, this is from the hotel. It says, allow me to inform you that I witnessed the incident, was the one who called the police as per your request. Well, he didn't, this person did not witness the incident.
No, he did not.
Okay.
He just called the police.
Okay, well, so that the police were called.
Yes.
Okay, and you have no photographs or anything else of this
Did not
scratch
take
on your face?
pictures. No,
Okay.
I did not, Your Honor.
When you did not go back to the room that she was in,
Yes.
you were given another room.
Yes,
With whom?
by myself.
Were you charged for that room?
Yes, ma'am.
Let me see.
Lisa hands another paper to Kevin. Judge Judy reviews it.
Did you sleep in your room alone the remainder of the trip?
I did.
Did you pay for it?
I did.
How much did you pay for your room?
I'm not sure about the total room charges. I just paid the total $4,900 for the trip, and the hotel was included.
Okay. Reimbursement of hotel room charges and phone bills, money owed for an assault. Okay. Now, I want you to clearly tell me about the assault.
I was sitting on the bed in a robe. I came upstairs to relax, and I sat on the edge of the bed. And when she came in real angry and just out of nowhere, and I thought I was dreaming or something. And she just lunged at me and scratched my face, and I just grabbed her arms and threw her on the bed.
So would you say, Miss Proctor, that the most horrendous thing that happened on this trip, not your phone bills, not anything else, was that you were scratched in the face?
Not only that, I felt threatened by her. I didn't want to stay in a room with her.
No, I
Yeah.
understand that. What I don't understand is if you were going to pursue an action against her and you had, your cousin there, you had other women there, you have your phone. It would seem to me that you would take a picture of your face to demonstrate to whomever that you had an injury.
That was true. That's true.
That's true.
Yeah, and one of the girls suggested I do it, and I didn't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's problematic. I need some proof from you, and this doesn't do it for me. Let us assume that I believe that the defendant was drunk and belligerent, and in the course of being drunk and belligerent there was something over a phone, who had her phone. That's what the papers say, correct?
Yes.
And in the course of this kerfuffle, you got hurt. Did you seek medical treatment for this scratch?
No, I did not.
Did you and Miss Lewis proceed on the trip together other than staying together in the same room? Did you travel together for the remainder of your 5 days in Dubai?
She was on excursion.
That's what I'm asking you.
But I stayed away from her.
Stand up, please. Tell me your name.
Claudette Walls.
Do you remember the first night that you were in Dubai?
Yes, I do.
Tell me what happened.
Okay, so after we were coming back from off at the cruise ship, I witnessed the similar situation with Michelle, how she was dancing and how she was in a lot of men's faces, you know, just being belligerent, and she was drunk. I told her, you know, she needs to calm down, you know, just cool it. So coming back, when we got back to the hotel, my cousin Lisa went her separate way. I'm not sure where Michelle went. I went to my room with my roommate. I took a shower. While I was in the shower, my cousin Lisa had called, so I missed that call. Then I came out. Michelle had called me.
That's Michelle?
Yes, had called me to tell me that, and she was upset, and to tell me that Lisa is going to file charges against her.
Tell me exactly what she said to you.
She said, Claudette, Lisa's going to get me arrested. So I didn't know what she was talking about. She was all over the place. I said, get you arrested for what? I don't know, but you need to come down here because I don't know what's going on. She's going to get me arrested. I said, Michelle, I don't know what's going on. So in turn, I hung up from her because I had to get dressed because Lisa had called me back and she told me she was at the concierge desk and she was talking to them. And I said, okay, I'm on my way down there. When I came out, as I came out the elevator, Miss Lewis had met me and was telling me that Miss Proctor had took her phone, and she was just saying all this stuff like, I know Lisa took my phone, I know she probably threw it in the water, and I know she don't like me, and blah, blah. I mean, it's just all over the place, and I kept saying, Michelle, do you hear yourself? Why would she invite you on a trip if she don't like you? Do you hear yourself? I said, furthermore, maybe you left your phone. So, of course, that's what the outcome of them. She forgot her phone on a boat. Then I proceeded to go meet my cousin at the concierge desk. The first thing I noticed is she had scratches on her nose leading up under her eye. She had one here and in the middle of her chin.
Did you ask her how she had
Yes,
those?
I did, and she told me what happened. She was in her robe. She had undressed with her robe when she had placed an order from Chicken Quesadillas. She was sitting on the edge of the bed. All of a sudden, Michelle came in the room, and she just was like belligerent and fussing and everything, and then she just stormed at her and attacked her in her face. And then she told me that. Then she started saying all these crazy things about you crazy, you stink, you ugly, and I got better clothes than you, and all just crazy stuff. So then my cousin said, you know what? I'm not going to fight her. Well, she told me she had grabbed her by her wrist and threw her back on the bed. And then from there, she proceeded on packing her clothes. She got dressed and packing everything because she said she was scared and she couldn't stay there in the room with her anymore.
Okay, let's hear your version. Do you remember what happened?
I absolutely do.
It would be a fair statement that you had a sufficient amount of alcohol that night on the boat.
Your Honor, on the boat, I had 2 beers and 1 drink. So when we went on the yacht, I left to go to the bathroom. There was a line. When I came back upstairs, Lisa was telling me, we have to get off the boat. We have to get off the boat right now. So I knew that I had left my sweater and my phone sitting on the little couch. I had my purse on me, so I don't know what she's speaking about the purse.
I don't understand a word you're saying, by the way.
I had my purse on me.
No, I don't understand where we're at.
Anita nods. Text appears, coming up.
So the plaintiff didn't have your phone.
No.
You left your phone on the boat.
The phone got left on the boat.
You left your phone on the boat.
Anita nods. Judge Judy cups her ear.
Yes.
A spectator laughs. Views of the courthouse flash. Text appears. Judy Justice.
Lisa Proctor is accusing her cousin, Anita Lewis, of owing for a new hotel room after Anita assaulted her in Dubai. Anita is countersuing, claiming Lisa filed a false police report.
Okay, you got on the boat, you went to the bathroom.
Yes, we were on the boat. We were on the boat for a while.
What time? Okay, so now you're on the boat for a while. How long was it? You get on the boat, the boat leaves the dock.
4 hours.
So you had been on the boat for 4 hours. And what you're telling me is in that 4 hours, you had 2 beers and 1 drink.
Yes.
Okay, and then?
I was dancing, so then I went to the bathroom.
Okay.
When I came back up, Lisa told me that we had to get
leave
off the boat.
So you have to leave the boat.
In the van on the way back, they had told me, when Lisa told me, let's get off the boat, I was like, I need to go get my stuff. So, meaning my sweater and my phone. They said that they had my stuff. They had my sweater. So when we got on the van to take us back, I was like, can I get my phone? So they were like, nobody has your phone. Does anybody have your phone? So Claudette tried to call my phone. My phone didn't ring, so I'm assuming, like, okay, so...
Can we get back to the hotel, please?
When we get to the hotel, we go to the room, and I'm asking Lisa to call, can she call the trip guide so that I can get the information to the pier so I could get my phone. She was the one yelling at me, no, and I couldn't use her phone, so I was standing facing the door. Lisa was standing towards me. Lisa lunged towards me, and I had on the same style nails. I held my hand up. I said, don't get up in my face. And at that point, my nail poked her. She started screaming, she's attacking me. I ran out the room, ran down the hallway, and I proceeded to go to the concierge myself to ask him, since I could not use her phone, I was gonna ask the concierge to call the travel agent.
Where was your phone?
My phone had got left on the boat.
And you got your phone?
And I got my phone back.
Right. So the plaintiff didn't have your phone. The answer is no.
No.
And the witness didn't have your phone.
No.
You left your phone on the boat.
The phone got left on the boat.
You left your phone on the boat.
Anita nods. Judge Judy cups her ear.
Yes.
Have you ever had any arguments or any issues with Claudette?
Never.
Never. Did you know her before the trip?
Yes.
If I were to ask Claudette whether or not she saw any scratch marks on Miss Proctor's face, what do you think she would say?
She's going to...
No, look at me.
Say yes, but I have pictures of her from days after.
1 day, 2 days after this incident, that I'm anxious to see them.
I have the pictures
I want to
in
see
my
it on your phone.
Kevin approaches Anita. She looks through her phone.
Okay, so that was
After.
New Year's Eve.
That was New Year's Eve, so that is, this happened on the 28th?
The 29th.
So you're talking about 2 days later?
Yes.
Okay, I'd like to see it.
Kevin brings the mobile phone to the bench.
And even days after that, I have pictures of her.
Judge Judy reviews the photo. In the image, Lisa smiles.
Okay. Now, would you please ask the plaintiff to show me in this picture where the scratches are on her face?
You're not going to be able to see in this picture because this was days later and it's foggy. They were light scratches.
So you can't see it?
No.
And you had an opportunity to take
Yes, I
pictures
did, Your
that
Honor.
day so that you would preserve this action in the event that you wanted to sue her for that assault. And you chose not to do that. You had your cell phone?
Yes, I did.
Which has photographic capacity.
Yes.
You did not take a picture of her face.
No, I didn't.
Right. So the only thing that I have is the plaintiff telling me that she was scratched. And the only photograph that I have does not display any scratch on her face. Would that be a fair statement?
Yes, that's fair.
Okie dokie. I'm not going to award you any money for that if she scratched your face. Certainly, if I had evidence of that, that I would entertain. I have no evidence of that. And you had the ability to preserve that evidence. You chose not to do it. You could have done it in a mirror. And your witness chose not to do that, to take a photograph of you. Okay. You have a counterclaim.
Yes.
And your counterclaim is for filing a false report.
Yes.
She says you scratched her in the face.
And I didn't scratch her.
Well, I don't know whether you did or you didn't. The fact that the police came and the fact that I have something that there was an incident at the hotel, and I have this from the hotel, I can't find that she did something to you maliciously. That's not harassment and filing a false police report. She says that you attacked her and that you were drunk.
And when they realized that she wasn't telling the truth, that's when they left. If they had thought in Dubai that I had assaulted her, I would have been locked up.
No, that's not what the report says, actually. The report says that they declined to open a case. That doesn't say you didn't do it.
I never
Okay, your
attacked-
counterclaim is dismissed. It has no merit whatsoever. The only thing that I have to consider is whether or not these charges for your hotel room were reasonable charges in addition to what you already paid, and whether or not, because of her conduct, you absorbed $2,673 in hotel room
Your Honor,
over and above, just a second, over and above what you had already paid.
Exactly.
Do you have anything whatsoever, Miss Lewis, to tell me that contradicts that statement? You can sit down. Do you have any proof that she did not pay an additional $2,600?
No, I don't know what she did after.
Very good. Okay. I'm satisfied that there was a kerfuffle, and I'm satisfied that you were drunk, and I'm satisfied that as a result of that, she had to absorb $2,673 for an additional hotel room. Judgment for the plaintiff. We're finished. Thank you very much.
Your Honor.
This court is adjourned.
The defendant and plaintiff are interviewed separately.
I don't think it's fair.
I won my money back for getting a room, so I'm happy with that.
Their whole story they corroborated was a lie together.
She lied about
lies.
everything.
Lied
She
about
lied about
everything.
attacking me. She lied about the police. And the only reason why I didn't press charges against her, because I didn't want her locked up in the Dubai. She may have still been there now.
I wish Judge Judy would have understood that they weren't telling the truth.
Some people just can't hold their liquor. Thank you, Judge Judy.
Text appears. Chambers.
You know what I'm not understanding? I understand girls' trips away. I don't understand taking a 14-hour plane ride one way and drinking to the extent that you're not able to absorb all this wonderful new stuff around you that you will probably never see again.
Yeah.
It just sounds ludicrous. I mean, you want to drink? Great.
Stay home.
Stay home, go to a local bar, go away for a weekend, take a half-hour drive. But to travel 28 hours, spend a fortune on plane tickets, stay in a nice hotel, and proceed to get so buzzed that you do things that are probably so out of character for you. It's just, to me, I don't understand it.
Especially in a place where you don't know the customs, the rules, the decorum of the place that you're visiting could really land you in some trouble.
Could have landed her in a lot of trouble. She would not have liked the jail in Dubai.
yeah.
Guaranteed. Anyway, I don't understand going to a foreign country that you probably never visit before and not maintaining a level of sobriety so you can enjoy every second.
I agree.
Just seems stupid, and I thought women were smarter.
Have you been cheated? Go to judyjustice.com.
This is the husband of your girlfriend.
Yes, ma'am. She witnessed him putting sugar in my gas tank.
And she stayed over in your house after they were married.
Yes.
I was trying to get away from that man.
That made you a little unhappy. Would that be a fair statement?
This is Judy Justice. Tony Owens Jr. is suing his ex-wife's husband, Michael Lawyer, for vandalizing his Jeep.
Court come to order. All rise.
Judge Judy enters.
Have a seat, please.
The spectators sit.
Judge, case 3149, Owens Jr. versus Lawyer.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Kevin hands papers to Judge Judy.
Mr. Owens, you have 2 children.
Yes, ma'am.
And I assume that this is the mother of your 2 children.
Yes, ma'am.
You were never married.
No.
And this is the husband of your girlfriend.
Yes, ma'am.
They are now separated.
Yes.
And she currently lives with you.
Yes.
Do we have that? Let's go through that one more time. You have 2 children with this young lady right here. Subsequent to having those 2 children, she married this gentleman. Short term, correct? How long?
Yes, sir. This coming April will be 2 years.
Short time. And since she's back living with you and the 2 children,
Yes, ma'am.
I assume that they did not have a happy 2 years. Is that clear to you what the relationships are? Or should I do it one more time? Is that necessary? This is what the case is about. It's complicated to follow. You got a car for one of your daughters. The car originally belonged to Mr. Lawyer, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
This was after your girlfriend and Mr. Lawyer married.
They weren't married when I got the car from him.
They were living together?
They were, yeah. She was his roommate, or she was his tenant.
Okay.
And then they got married.
Well, they got to be more than tenants, whatever.
I got
Whatever
the
it was. The car that you got ostensibly for your daughter belonged to Mr. Lawyer.
Yes.
And he gave it without any money to his to-be wife, correct?
Yes.
And the to-be wife gave it to you, allegedly, for one of your girls to use to drive.
Unknowns to me.
You didn't know anything about that, all right? You gave it to wife for her use. She gave it to the ex-boyfriend, allegedly for one of the girls to use. That made you a little unhappy. Would that be a fair statement? Would be a fair statement. You were not happy with that. It all sounds as if you may have thought, making a fool out of me. It was ridiculous. I gave it to her to use. Okay, this is what the lawsuit is about. The lawsuit is about your allegation that Mr. Lawyer put sugar in the gas tank of the car in question, causing several $1,000s worth of damage. Is that what the lawsuit's about?
Yes.
That's what he says.
That's what he's saying. So I'm just going to get some dates from you. Give me a month and year. Did you give this car, what is it, a Jeep?
Yeah, a 1990 Jeep Wrangler.
Okay. What year did you give the Jeep?
2022.
In 2022, you gave the car to, what's your first name?
Jennifer.
You gave the car to Jennifer.
Yes, I did.
And?
To be wife, yes.
You were not married at the time?
No.
And you put it in her name?
Yes.
She didn't give you any money for it?
I didn't see any money transfer hand.
Didn't give you any money for it. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And you married when, sir? Month and year?
April 27th, 2022.
25th.
25th? I was close.
22?
April 25th.
Is it 2022?
22,
I'm not going to send you an anniversary card. I just need the month and the year. Okay. On what date did your girlfriend turn the car over to you?
In the beginning of April.
Of what year?
2022.
So the same time that he gave her the car, she gave it to you?
A month later, yes, ma'am.
I sold it.
Shh. A month later?
Yes.
I would like you, first of all, I'm going to put you outside while I take some testimony because I'm going to want to take yours later, and I don't want it to be in any way colored by what you hear now.
Kevin leads Jennifer out of the courtroom.
Okay, so now, Mr. Owens, I would like for you to tell me what conversations you had with the lovely Jennifer about the transfer of this Jeep in April of 2022 to you.
Me and Miss Lawyer, we talked about...
Jennifer?
Yes.
And I.
Well, Jennifer and I talked about getting a vehicle for my daughter to drive, a Jeep, but I needed a vehicle at the time, so I said I would get it.
Let's go slowly. You and Jennifer talked about getting a car for one of your daughters.
Yes.
Got that. Then very quickly you glossed over, and I didn't have a car myself at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, at the time, I was looking at a Jeep online myself, and I sent a picture to her, a green one, and she said, oh, well, Mike gave me this Jeep. I can't drive it. It's not really, the pedals are weird. She didn't like driving it, so she said she was going to talk to Mike and see if I could buy the Jeep off of them. And I said, okay, talk to him, and I agreed. At the time, she had a vehicle, and I was looking for a vehicle. When I sent her a picture of the Jeep, she was telling me about his Jeep.
So you repeated that story once already,
So that's how the conversation went about the Jeep.
Did you pay her for the Jeep?
Text appears coming up.
She stayed over in your house after they were married?
Yes.
Yes.
I have 2 children. We co-parent.
That's not co-parenting.
Co-parenting.
That's cohabiting. That's not co-parenting. There's a difference between cohabiting and co-parenting.
Sarah Rose grins. Text appears, Judy Justice. Clips of trains flash. An American flag flutters at the top of a building.
Tony Owens Jr. claims his ex-wife's husband, Michael Lawyer, vandalized his Jeep by putting sugar in the gas tank.
Now, did you pay her for the Jeep?
I paid her $800 for the Jeep. She was living with him at the time.
Shh. What did I have to do? I asked you a simple question.
And
I said, did you pay her for the Jeep?
She said she gave it to him.
Shh. How much did you pay her?
$800.
Did you give her the $800 in check or cash?
No, it's cash.
Everybody deals in cash these days. Interesting. And where were you when you gave her the cash?
I was at my house.
At your house. So she drove the car to your house.
No, I had it towed. The tires were dry rot. I had the Jeep towed to my house. She drove her car.
And that was in April of 2022.
Yes.
So the Jeep was towed to your house, and when the Jeep was deposited in your house, she gave you $800.
No, I gave her $800.
Oh, you gave her $800 in cash. Now I need the month and the day and the year when you allege that Mr. Lawyer vandalized your car by putting sugar in the tank.
Like I said, in April, I got the Jeep. And then beginning of May, I got tires put on. I was trying to get it in a running order for me to drive. And then that weekend, my witness, came to my house, and she was drinking, so she didn't drive home. She stayed there.
Just a minute. That would be May of 2022.
Yes.
Okay, but this incident happened in 2023.
22. Is it 22 or 23?
No, don't look at him.
22. It's 22.
Don't look at him.
It's 22.
22. In May of 22, what's the date in May of 2022 that his wife was staying over in your house?
May 20th.
And she stayed over in your house after they were married?
Yes.
Yes.
I have 2 children. We co-parent. You know, she's got her own spare bedroom.
Co-parenting is not exactly what I would call it when she stays over at your house. That's not what I would call it. That's not co-parenting.
Co-parenting.
That's cohabiting. That's not co-parenting. There's a difference between cohabiting and co-parenting. She stayed over at your house because she was drunk.
Yes, showed up drunk. Later on that night, Mr. Lawyer came to my house upset that, you know, she was at my house, which I understand that, and brought a gun with him.
No, I
didn't. And went out in my driveway. Well, him and her got into an argument.
Oh, he and Jennifer.
Went out in the driveway. He punched her a couple times. He left, and then she came back in. I talked to Mr. Lawyer about the Jeep. He was fine with it. He was telling me, you know, well, it polishes up real nice, this and that, because I was...
When was this? After he punched his wife?
After he punched her.
After he punched his wife?
He also brought over, I got proof that he brought over the soft top for the Jeep. We've had plenty of conversations about the Jeep. He knew all about the Jeep. It's not like I got the Jeep from her without him knowing it. The money went to him that I gave her for the Jeep.
Let's get to this incident that you're alleging happened. That happened on May 20th?
Then the next weekend, Mr. Lawyer and Jennifer came to...
Oh, then she went home?
Yeah, they were still together. They came to my house together. She dropped off something for my daughter. She was in the house, and she witnessed him putting sugar in my gas tank.
You didn't see it?
I was at work.
So the answer is you didn't see it?
No, ma'am.
Ah.
Had a police report here. It's on camera, video.
Do you have the video?
No, I have the police report. It's in detail about what the police officer
Okay, I'm going to take a look at it.
Tony hands papers to Kevin, who brings the documents to the bench.
Thank you.
An incident report is shown.
Well, this incident didn't happen on May 20th. It happened on June 1st, according to this.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I was getting there. I was getting there. You
well, get there. Yeah, you can get there fast enough. This show does not have an intermission.
Whitney grins.
Mr. Lawyer, you were taken into police custody?
Yes, I was.
Okay, as a result of this incident?
Yes, I was.
And you had an attorney?
Yes. I pay monthly for an attorney because I own apartments, and I get sued all the time from owning apartments.
Okay, so you had an attorney representing you on this? And you appeared in court?
Yes, many times.
What happened with regard to this case? Do you have a certificate of disposition?
Michael holds out a sheet of paper. Kevin retrieves it and brings it to the bench. Judge Judy looks it over.
Mr. Lawyer, there was a costs amount of $125. Did you pay that?
Yes, I paid some court costs.
Okay. And the charge was criminal mischief. And ultimately, the case was dismissed, it looks like, without prejudice.
Yeah.
What did you have to do in order to get the case dismissed without prejudice, which means they can bring it back? Did you have to perform any community service? Did you have to provide money? This doesn't tell me enough.
They just said, pay the court costs and you're free. You're done.
Pay the court costs. Okay, you know more?
Yes. The reason why they dismissed it is because I didn't show up to court. He told me this.
That the reason they dismissed it because you weren't there?
Yes. I got a text message from him. He gave me a text message telling me, thank you for not coming to court. I owe you big time.
Can I see it, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Had he asked you not to come to court?
I didn't have to be there. They just mistakenly, since I wasn't there, they dismissed it.
If they had that much evidence.
Shh. He admits to doing the sugar.
Shh.
Well, okay.
Okay. So, Mr. Lawyer, January 11th, you wrote to him, thank you, Tony. The U is in capital letters. Because you didn't show up, they threw it out. Exclamation point. I owe you for sure. Need a favor? I got your back. Haven't heard from Jen for some days now. Is everything okay? Yeah, I need the money to fix the Jeep. That Jeep was for Aubrey, and you blanked it up by putting sugar in the tank. I got an estimate for $22.95, but I'll take $1,200 to get a new tank and lines ran. If you do that, I won't pursue any further. You answered him. I have a place that can do it cheaper if you want to go that route. Then you say again, what about Jen? Is she all right? You know I will always love her and cherish her. I don't talk to Jen hardly at all. She goes to work and sleeps all day. I already told her I'm not giving her another chance to hurt me. I only let her stay there because she said you were trying to kill her. And then you answer, never, never, never did I try to kill that girl. Okie dokie.
Text appears, coming up.
You went over and stayed over with Mr. Owens for a night. You came there drunk.
I went there and seen my kids because there was an altercation somewhere else, and I was trying to get away from that man.
Were you drunk?
Yeah.
Views of the courthouse flash. Text appears, Judy Justice.
Tony Owens Jr. has accused his ex-wife's husband, Michael Lawyer, of putting sugar in his Jeep's gas tank, causing it to break down.
Now, we're going to bring Jen back inside. It appears from these text messages that you acknowledged that you were prepared to pay something to have the car fixed as a result of the sugar being in the tank. That's a
yes.
Okay. And how much were you prepared to pay him?
I could have had it done for $400 and some dollars if he hadn't drove it for months afterwards with the sugar in the tank, supposedly sugar, because I don't think I got any in it.
You don't think you got any in it?
No, because I was so nervous. It spilled all over the place and got it mostly all over the ground and everything.
Okie dokie. Well, that's sort of honest. All right, Jennifer, I know you're a busy girl, so stand right over there, and I'll try to make this as fast as possible. Mr. Lawyer gave you a car. You had it for a month. Tell me about the conversations you had with Mr. Owens about the car. Look here.
I tried to drive it, and I couldn't reach the pedals, and it needed a lot of work, and I didn't think I really wanted it. And I knew that him and the kids needed a car at the time because I was doing all the driving for the whole family, and I was living 30 minutes away. So since we weren't using the car, I offered to sell it to him so that he could use it for now, and then we could fix it up and give it to Aubrey when it came to her time.
Did you discuss that with Mr. Lawyer first?
Yes.
First. Did you discuss it with him first? Is the question.
No, I didn't.
All right. You didn't discuss it with him first. Okay. And when there was a transfer, were you paid any money?
Yes.
How much?
$600.
$600. Check, cash, money order?
Cash.
What did you do with the $600?
I offered to give him some of it because he was fine with the whole ordeal. He was good with it. His feelings were a little bit hurt.
Just a second.
Didn't ask.
Just a second. You discussed it with Mr. Lawyer after you had already made the agreement because he didn't know anything about it. So now I sort of get it. Now we're moving forward a little bit. And two of you had sort of a falling out. You went over and stayed over with Mr. Owens for a night. You came there drunk.
I went there and seen my kids because there was an altercation somewhere else, and I was trying to get away from that man.
Were you drunk?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's all I asked you. I said you went over and you stayed over there because you were drunk. Now, there is information in the police report that you observed Mr. Lawyer doing something to the car.
Yes.
Okay. Now, before you were brought back inside, Mr. Lawyer sort of, at least to my satisfaction, acknowledged that he was trying to put sugar in the car, but he didn't think any got into it because there was a whole bunch around it, right?
It didn't go like I thought it would. I thought it would
If you didn't
just
get-
smoothly go
Don't-
down.
Just
and
listen
it
to me.
didn't.
If you didn't get
Listen
no
to me. I
sugar.
didn't ask you anything,
Okay.
Tony.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Do you
Yes, ma'am.
understand? Nothing. The reason I'm looking so quizzically, Mr. Lawyer, is because you swore in your answer, and I'm very happy that now being here and faced with this face, you want to tell the truth.
Yeah.
Because in your answer, you say you went there to put sugar in the tank, but had a change of mind, turned around and left.
Well, I
But that
did
isn't
after-
true. What happened is now, according to you, you were trying to get the sugar in the tank, but were shaking and didn't quite figure out how to do it.
Yeah,
All right,
it was
good.
a mess.
You acknowledged in this exchange that you can get the car fixed for $1,200.
I did.
That's what you said.
If
Did
I
you
did-
get the car fixed?
No, not yet.
You mean you've been driving it
I
around?
haven't been driving it.
Where is it?
It's in my driveway. I haven't been driving it.
For
since
how?
This happened.
For how long?
Just since this happened in May.
Well, you did drive it afterwards for a short period of time.
For a little bit, maybe a week.
Listen to me.
It wouldn't start.
Pay careful attention. You were driving around in the car after the sugar was in the tank
Yes, for a week.
for a week, and then it stopped running.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you can get it fixed for $1,200 is the exchange that you had with the defendant.
Yes, ma'am.
Good. Are you together now?
No.
The two of you?
No.
No.
We are co-parenting.
We're
Co-parenting.
co-parenting. Like
Which,
you said it.
Judge Judy taps papers.
nice to co-parent. I like co-parenting.
I have
Co-parenting
my
is
own
very,
bedroom,
very...
And I pay half the bills.
Do you live in the same house?
Yes, we do.
Okay, good.
Because I left my apartment.
Just,
behind.
I didn't ask you anything else. I just asked you if you live in the same house. The answer is yes. All right. Okay, I've enjoyed this. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,200. We're finished. Thank you very much.
This court is adjourned.
Michael, Tony, and Jennifer are interviewed separately.
She wanted the Jeep to give to him, and not for the kids, but for him.
He needed a vehicle, and after I drove it, I didn't want it. It wasn't what I was looking for.
Honest to God, you put the sugar in and it just stuck there. And I took the funnel out and it went all over the ground and all over the place, and I don't think there was any sugar in that tank at all.
Like he said, he was all shaky. He dropped most of the sugar on the ground. And I mean, some did get in there, but I mean, I can get it fixed myself.
Well, it's been an ongoing investigation and an ongoing thing in the courts for almost a year and a half, and I'm just glad it's over with and it's done and I can get on with my life.
I thought he was a nice guy that was going to help me out and promised me a rose garden, and he gave me a bunch of thorns.
Text appears, Chambers.
You know what's getting harder for me as I get older? The law is relatively consistent and easy. You know, once you've been playing with it in your mind for 60 years, there are very few other stories you haven't heard, and the law remains pretty consistent. I'm really having a problem with these convoluted social situations.
They always seem to come out in court.
Ex-girlfriend, with whom I have 2 children, sold me a car that her then just older boyfriend gave her.
Turned husband.
Well, that sort of didn't work out, and now she's living in my house, but we're not living together. We're just co-parenting.
Yeah. The social structure, the social fabric has changed immensely.
It's getting very confusing.
I'll try and keep you as on top of it as I can.
Thank you, but that's your job.
Have you been cheated? Go to judyjustice.tv.
This program.
This young man vandalized your home.
Correct.
Come over here. Take the pen and show me where the damage was.
Here.
He did not vandalize her house. He vandalized the other house.
A woman shakes her head.
I don't believe a word of that. Give me my pen back. If you tell the truth, you don't have to have a good memory.
This is Judy Justice. Tanya Labriola is suing her neighbor, Noel Chang, for vandalism caused by her 11-year-old son, William.
Court come to order. All rise.
Judge Judy enters.
Have a seat, please.
The spectators sit.
Judge, case 3151, Labriola versus Chain.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You own a home,
Yes, ma'am.
and it is your allegation that I assume this young man, who is your son,
Yes, ma'am.
vandalized your home.
Correct.
Which had been freshly painted.
Correct.
Because you added an addition, so it was just painted. And he vandalized it by throwing paint on it and some fencing or some
ma'am.
wall. And the defendant's mother says he wasn't the instigator. He did, in fact, do it, but she was going to clean it off. And she thought your estimate to fix it was too high. So, what's your first name?
William.
Stand up with your mother.
William stands.
You're 10?
11, ma'am.
Tall for 11.
Thank you.
Okay. So, on what date did you vandalize the plaintiff's house?
Not sure.
What month was it?
December.
Saturday or Sunday?
Pretty sure it was Sunday.
Do you remember what time?
No.
Morning, afternoon, night?
Morning, transitioning into the afternoon.
What were you doing outside? Did your mother tell you to go outside?
Yes.
And who did you go outside with?
My friend.
Did you take your bikes or did you walk?
Bikes.
And you went over to where the plaintiff's house is, and there's also a construction site. So I want you to go over there and show me where you and your friend went.
William steps over to a TV showing an aerial view of a neighborhood. He points.
All right. Now, point to the plaintiff's house.
He points to another house.
Okay. So you went to the house next door?
Yes.
Were they doing construction at the house next door?
What do you mean by that? Like people there currently?
You threw paint on the plaintiff's house. Where did you get the paint from? Show me in that picture. That's what I thought. So you got the paint from somebody else's house.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand? He got the paint from somebody else's house and took the paint to the plaintiff's house.
Can I clarify?
Sure.
My understanding is he did not vandalize her house. He vandalized the other house.
Well, you don't know that at all, actually. You don't know that at all because you weren't there. You don't know that at all.
Based on the evidence and what my son said, that it is true he vandalized one house and the other kid vandalized the other house.
Okay. Now, come over here.
William approaches the judge's bench.
If you tell the truth, you don't have to have a good memory. Take the pen and show me where you walked and where you got the paint.
William takes the pen and steps back to the TV. He points with the pen.
You walk there and then stop where you got the paint. You got the paint there. How many cans of paint were there?
4.
4. So there were 4-gallon cans of paint?
No.
How big?
Big, not very big.
4. So you each carried 2?
No, I took 1, he took 3.
And what was your intention when you took the 1?
Use it on this house.
Use it for what on the house?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
I wasn't really thinking.
When did you and your friend separate?
About right there.
And show me where you stayed and show me where your friend went.
He moves the pen between a house and the plaintiff's.
What is that with the pen? You stayed where?
Here. Went here.
And you let him go there all by himself?
Yes.
I don't believe a word of that. Give me my pen back. Give me my pen back.
Yes, ma'am.
Now you can go stand with your mother. You have an estimate to paint the house.
I do.
May I see it, please? And I'd like to see the photographs.
Absolutely. I have an estimate for the repainting as well as the north side of my house. The fence was splattered with paint as well. And then I had 6 boxes of flooring that were damaged. And
let me just
I have all of that. And here is the damages.
And the estimate that you got was $3,800, and you said that the other people paid $1,900, which is half. Okay.
Correct. And then I received an invoice for the fence painting, which I didn't have initially, and as well as
That's
the
too
flooring.
bad. That's too bad. $1,900, which, as you said, is half the estimate. Now I want to see.
Judge Judy looks at photos of a vandalized window and wall.
Okay. So now I have this question for you. Yes, ma'am. When you came home, your mother said to you, you have paint on your shoes, right?
Yes.
And she asked you what happened. How'd you get paint on your shoes? Tell me what you told her.
I told her that I went over to the house down the road.
You got it at the house down the road?
Yes.
You had to have told her more because she went with you to where the damage was to the house and you started cleaning it with your mother, correct?
Correct.
And where did you start to clean with your mother first? Because pay careful attention, because when the plaintiff came home, she found you and your mother cleaning the house in the back. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
So now what I want you to do is show me when you and your mother first came to the property, where did you show her the damage was? Go over there.
William points at the house where he found the paint and the plaintiff's house.
Show me where you told your mother the damage was.
Here and here.
Well, how did you know the damage was there? You said that you didn't go there. How did you know that there was any damage there?
William bites his lip. Text appears, coming up.
When you pulled up in your driveway and found the defendant's mother cleaning your house, where were they cleaning? Show me.
Okay, the mom was over here and her son was over here.
So the son was cleaning the house that he allegedly had nothing to do with vandalizing.
And later today.
You mean instantly you had a fight with him in the morning, and then you were going to pursue your dream of motorcycle riding that day. And so you got on the bike and you wrecked it. And then was terribly injured, which you were, because that's what happens when you ride something with just the air around you.
Whitney Kumar smiles. Text appears, Judy Justice. Clips of trains flash. An American flag flutters at the top of a building.
Tanya Labriola claims her neighbor, Noel Chang, owes for property damage after her 11-year-old son, William, vandalized her house.
Now, you said that you stayed right in the back of that first house, and your friend went all the way up. Don't raise your hand.
Noel frowns.
And your friend went all the way around the house with the 3 cans of paint that he was carrying. You only had 1. So how did you know that there was any damage to the plaintiff's house?
Because there wasn't any trees here, and you could just blatantly see them doing the paint over here.
It's not a flat house. It's a big house. Madam, walk over to the house and show me where the paint was on your house.
Can I show you a more accurate picture of the property?
No. Put it down. Show me where the damage was to your house. In the back end.
It was in all 3 sides, yes, ma'am.
All 3 sides?
Just not the front. So,
Okay.
yes,
And
ma'am.
you said that you didn't move from the back of the first house when your friend went all the way around the house. So my question now to you is, when you pulled up in your driveway and found the defendant's mother and this young man cleaning your house, where were they cleaning? Show me.
Okay, the mom was over here and her son was over here.
So the son was cleaning the house that he allegedly had nothing to do with vandalizing. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay. Step back. You two.
William and Tanya return to their respective tables.
Anything else you want to tell me?
No, ma'am.
You know, I sort of know that this is the last time, at least I believe that this is the last time you're going to be in court like this. I sort of have that here because I think that this was an unpleasant experience both for you and your mother.
Yes, ma'am.
And when you get older, you realize that you don't want to repeat unpleasant situations because you get embarrassed. Your mother is embarrassed. I mean, your mother had other things to do rather than putting on plastic gloves and going scrubbing off latex paint on somebody else's house that day. So if you do the wrong thing happens. Now, if you do the right thing in life, it's not a guarantee that everything will go well for you. But I'm going to tell you, it's a damn good start.
William nods.
So if you try to do what is being a good citizen, what's being a good person, what's being a good neighbor. Do you live in a house?
Yes.
Does your mom own that house?
Yes, but I think she's still paying her mortgage.
Well, that she owns it if she's still paying a mortgage, but that's observant. So she owns her own house.
Yes.
How do you think she would feel if somebody came and threw paint on her house?
Upset.
Right. Because she's paying a mortgage. She wants it to look nice. She wants you to have a nice place to live. So you seem like a nice young man. And you have to realize that there are repercussions when you do the wrong thing. This lady had a house. She built an extension. She repainted the house. And somebody comes along and for sport vandalizes it with their friend. Because this was what we call a joint venture with your friend. Then you had to get your mother involved. This was on a weekend?
Yes.
So on a day when she doesn't work, she would ordinarily clean her own house. So
yeah.
instead, she had to get all dressed and ready and go and scrub a stranger's house. Not fair, right? Good. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,900. We're finished. Thank you very much.
This court is adjourned.
Noelle glances at her son. The plaintiff and defendants are interviewed separately.
Devastated because I'm a teacher, a single mom of 2, and I've been working for years to save. I work 2 jobs, so it's heartbreaking.
Ultimately, I'm the one who is going to be responsible for paying this bill.
No, I think they were just 12 or 11, whatever age they were, and just wanted to do what they wanted to do.
I hope this will put me on the path to do the right thing, and hopefully I really, really will try my best to not make this kind of mistake again.
That actions have consequences.
Ready to put it behind me.
Text appears, Chambers.
Oh, how you love the youth and to set them on the right path. That was a very well-spoken, seemed confident, smart 11-year-old.
Yeah.
And I think you scared it into him to make the right choices. And this seemed like a one-off type situation for him. It didn't seem like this was a trait that he carries on daily, in his regular life. And you never know, this experience for him might just be the thing that keeps him from ever doing anything like this again. It might be the little voice over peer pressure, over, instigation that could save him from making another mistake in his young years.
I used to say that in family court all the time, that I thought it was unwise to allow young people like this, or a little bit older, who committed these acts of vandalism, knocked over somebody's vegetable cart, took rocks and threw it and broke a window. And they would go into the probation department and they would say, don't do that again, you don't want to have to come in here with your mother again, and they let them go home. And I said, it's a tremendous mistake, because if the first time you're brought into court, it's an unpleasant experience. People usually do not want to replicate an unpleasant experience. But if there's no consequence to doing these little petty things...
Then there's no contrary voice when you're about to do it.
There's no consequence, then that escalates, because there has to be a consequence. As a parent, if you tell your child to be in at 9 o'clock and they come in at 11, and there's no consequence, then they're going to come in at 12. And if there's no consequence, then they're going to come in next Thursday, and you're going to deserve it. Because there has to be consequential behavior. Anyway, I'm getting off my soapbox.
In court.
Case 3143, Child versus Hudson. All parties, please come forward.
Taylor Child is suing her former friend, Crystal Huddleston, for the cost of a motorcycle and riding boots.
I know very little about motorcycles. I know that the couple of times I've been on them, I didn't like it. Just seems to me that when you're surrounded with 3,000-pound cars, you want more around you than fresh air. So maybe I'll get somewhat of an education doing this case. I doubt it.
Text appears, coming up.
You weren't in an accident with another bike. You wrapped the bike around a tree.
Yes.
And of course, that had to be somebody else's fault. Not the fault of the rider who was learning how to ride, but it had to be somebody else's fault who let you use the bike to learn how to ride.
Crystal averts her eyes. Views of the courthouse flash. Text appears, Judy Justice.
Taylor Child is accusing her former friend, Crystal Huddleston, of owing for the cost of a motorcycle after crashing it into a tree. Crystal is countersuing Taylor for medical bills.
Miss Child, you like motorcycles.
Correct.
And you've been riding them a long time.
Yes.
And you purchased a motorcycle from someone used, and you paid $3,500 for it.
Yes.
Who's Scott?
Right here, ma'am.
That would be him. You and Scott work on the motorcycles together.
Yes.
And you brought the motorcycle back to your place, and you did some work on the chain and a lube job and who knows what else. But then when you tested it out, Scott thought, according to you, it needed a little more work, and he was going to take it back to his house to do a little more work on it. So far, correct?
Correct.
So Scott took this motorcycle back to his house. Now, this young lady doesn't ride motorcycles, but she rides as a passenger on motorcycles, but she wanted to learn about it. And she, too, was a friend of Scott's.
Correct.
So she was at Scott's house while he was futzing around with this motorcycle. And she decided she wanted to ride it and wanted Scott to help her learn to ride a motorcycle. Is not an answer. Is that correct?
No.
Tell me where I'm wrong.
The morning of September 29th, Taylor had my riding equipment in her car, and she and I had an agreement that I was going to learn with Scott on the bike. The night previous, we had a group chat.
And at some point, you had to have asked her if you could ride the bike. You know, certain things are common sense, certain things aren't common sense. Don't think about your ultimate counterclaim here, because that's not going to be good for you anyway, in all probability. You understand that?
Yes.
Yes, we have to take responsibility for our own actions. But at some point, you asked her if you could ride her bike.
Yes.
Okay. And at that point, you knew the bike was at Scott's house.
Yes.
And when Scott gave you the bike to ride, you rode it alone.
Yes.
Had you ever ridden a bike alone before?
Yes.
How many times?
5.
Whose bike?
Ryan's bike.
And Ryan is your?
Boyfriend.
Okay. When Ryan let you ride his bike 5 times, were you good at it?
I would like to think so.
Well, then what did you want to ride her used bike for and learn how to ride?
I wanted to get more practice before I bought my own bike.
Okay, so you wanted to get more practice. Why didn't you ask your boyfriend if you could ride his bike?
Ryan and I were in a fight that morning.
So you mean instantly you had a fight with him in the morning, and then you were going to pursue your dream of motorcycle riding that day? Am I understanding you?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, good. So this is what happened. So you got on the bike and you wrecked it.
Yes.
And she's suing for the wrecked bike.
Correct.
And you're counterclaiming because you said, I didn't know that it didn't have a lube job, and I was terribly injured, which you were, hospitalized, right?
Yes.
Because that's what happens when you ride something with just the air around you. You weren't in an accident with another bike or a car. You wrapped the bike around a tree.
Yes.
And of course, that had to be somebody else's fault, not the fault of the rider who was learning how to ride, but it had to be somebody else's fault who let you use the bike to learn how to ride.
No, I take full responsibility for crashing this bike.
You take full responsibility, so why don't you pay her for the bike instead of countersuing her for $10,000?
The bike was unregistered, uninsured, and Taylor and I have an agreement, or had an agreement, that I would pay her in full by March 29th.
Pay her in full for what?
For the bike.
And?
And the boots that she gave me.
So you had an agreement with her after this incident. By the way, what was the date of the incident?
September 29th.
Okay, so you had an agreement after you destroyed the bike and after you recovered from your injuries, you had an agreement with her that you were going to pay her for the bike by March 29th.
Yes.
Why didn't you pay her?
I have been paying the medical bills off.
Okay, well, that's fair. So in anticipation of your not paying her back, she's suing you now, and you decided to counterclaim.
Yes.
That makes my life so much easier. Good. Did she agree to pay you back for the bike?
Yes.
She's telling you this, in legalese, we call this an anticipatory breach. She's telling you now on March 19th that she's not going to pay you on March 29th. So 10 days from now, she's not going to pay you because she's been paying off the medical bills. That's why we're here.
Correct.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $3,500. Your counterclaim's dismissed. We're done here. Thank you very much.
This court is adjourned.
The defendant and plaintiff are interviewed separately.
What happened is Taylor blatantly lied and said that I could ride her bike, and that's it. It's cut and clean. I crashed, I take responsibility for it, and that's it.
I didn't get full permission. It was discussed prior to the case, well, prior to the incident, that I would teach her, and they already had access to my bike.
I was on gravel. I lost control of the bike. I popped a wheelie, and then I popped another wheelie.
I received a call from Scott, my witness.
The clutch gave out, and I couldn't stop the bike, so I made a decision to not go into my car and go into a tree.
He said, hey, get here quick. Crystal's in an ambulance. She wrapped her bike around a tree.
Taylor and I are not friends.
We're not friends.
I don't like snakes. I'm sorry.
Text appears, Chambers.
Rarely do we get one that easy. I mean, it was clear she rode the bike, she wrapped the trees, she damaged it.
She made an agreement to pay for it?
Made an agreement to pay for it, and although she didn't reach exactly, you know, the 10 days from now in which she would have breached it, I think plaintiff was entitled to it. And you assume the risk when you do dangerous adult activities, such as riding a motorcycle, and just like you said, you can't shift the blame after the fact to anyone else out there. That's your own fault, and anything that comes to you deserves to come to you.
That's it. Well, you need all kinds of IQs.
Are you a victim of a scam? Go to judyjustice.tv.
This program has been described by Roundabout
You hired her to do their hair for the party.
When they got their hair done by her, initially, they were complaining of their head hurting. But when I took the ponytail completely down, they had these sores.
What did your mother do when you told her that your head hurt you? What did she do?
They got the memory like Dory. Like, they can't even remember what they ate for breakfast yesterday.
This is Judy Justice. Quay Walden is suing hairdresser friend Sean Fisher for injuries to her 16-year-old twin daughters after friend Sean styled their hair.
Court come to order. All rise.
Judge Judy enters.
Have a seat, please.
The spectators sit.
Judge, case 3138, Walden versus Fisher.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Miss Walden, this is your case. These are your twin daughters. They were celebrating a sweet 16 and they were having a party.
Yes, ma'am.
They wanted a very special look for the party. They were going to wear their hair in some sort of a ponytail. You bought each of them an extension so that they could enhance whatever hairstyle they were going to have. And you hired Miss Fisher in order to do their hair for the party. So far, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And the girls they went by themselves. And your lawsuit says that they did have their party and that their hair looked just fine for the party. Hair looked great, right? Took pictures, everything was perfect for the party.
Yes, ma'am.
And then after the party, day later or 2 days later, they were having problems. The hair didn't stay as it was supposed to be. It was supposed to stay for longer than a couple of days. And then when you finally took the curls out, you noticed that they had sores in their hair from where pins had been stabbing them for days. You want to be compensated for that.
Yes, ma'am.
That's what the case is about.
Yeah.
Did I leave anything out?
You kind of mixed it up a little bit, but it's fine.
No, tell me how I mixed it up.
So first, if I would like to say, if I knew what lied beneath the craftsmanship, I would have never even reached out
Who
about the
cares?
craftsmanship.
That has absolutely nothing to do with laying out what your lawsuit is about. You hired her, and if hindsight were 20/20, my parents would have been taller. Maybe I would have been taller. But that's what happens. Stand up next to your mother, please.
The twins stand.
Has the defendant ever done their hair before?
No, she did not do their hair before.
Just a second. How did you find her?
On the internet. I had a couple of options to vacillate between.
Just a second.
So I chose her.
On the internet? Mm-hmm. And what did you pay her to do the girls' hair?
$400, $200 each for an updo ponytail. And to be quite frank, I'm very familiar with it. I've done it on their hair a couple of times before. I know how it should be done. I paid her to do the service when they came home. Like I said, the hair was nice for the party. 2 days later, all I went to do was titivate the curls. When I took the pin out just to redo the curls, the whole ponytail fell apart. I was actually in the middle of recording a TikTok just to show, how to redo the curls, and
I don't care about
I had it on video.
I don't care. Do you understand? I only care about one thing in your complaint, and that is you say that the girls suffered permanent damage to their scalp as a result of the way she attached these pieces of hair. That's your complaint. Yeah. So when was the Sweet 16?
So the Sweet 16 was May 13th.
Okay. May 13th, yes. 2023.
Yes. May 16th is when I went to basically redo the curls. May 19th, I took it out.
Shh.
And I would like to mention, when they got their hair done by her, initially, they were complaining of their head hurting. They went and they advised her, because like I said, they have these plenty of time before. They told her their head, it wasn't feeling right. She took a tail comb and stuck it in the middle of their head and went like this and said, because y'all not used to updo ponytails.
Could you move on, please?
Absolutely.
May 19th is what you were at.
Yeah, I took their hair down on May 19th is when I took it out completely.
You took it out completely.
Yes,
6 days later, 6 days later, you took it out completely. Now, between the 13th and the 19th, 6 days, the girls were away, or were they with you?
They were with me.
24 hours a day when they weren't in school?
Yes, 24 hours a day. We're pretty.
I assume if something was sticking them in the head, that your daughters, who was 16 years old, would have said, Mom, something's sticking me and hurting me on the 14th, the 15th, the 16th, the 17th, the 18th. Look at me. How many times did you complain to your mother from the 14th to the 19th that your head hurt you? Look at me. How many times? No answer is going to be a good answer. I'm giving you forewarn. How many times? If it was 0, just tell me 0.
And if you...
Shut.
No, I'm looking at it.
Just answer my question. How many times between the 14th of May and the 19th of May did either of you complain to your mother that your head hurt you?
Quay raises her hand.
Don't speak. How many times? Are you girls...
Because they can't even remember what they had for dinner yesterday.
Okay, I'm going to dismiss your case, period. Do you understand? You want to answer my question. How many times did you complain to your mother that your head hurt you between the 14th of May and the 19th of May?
A few, maybe 3.
What?
A few.
A few. Now, when you complained to your mother and you told her that your head hurt you, what did she do on the 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, or 18th? What did she do? Put the phone down. What? Look at me. What did your mother do?
I don't remember. I don't remember.
You don't remember?
Yeah, we don't.
So sit down.
Okay, sit down.
No, not her. She's standing. When you complained to your mother a few times, I assume, where the ponytail was put there, when you told her that your head hurt you, what did she do? And if she did nothing, just say she did nothing. Listen to me. Your case is going to be dismissed. Do you understand? Probably anyway. But if you interfere with my examination of a witness by coaching, I'm going to throw you out now. I don't need it. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Text appears. Coming up.
I took them for their skin. I asked doctor, can you please look at the spot that they have in their hair because they have sores from a ponytail they had. She said whatever she needs to say.
Pay attention to me. Don't look confused.
I'm a little confused.
Don't look confused.
Quay frowns. Text appears. Judy Justice. Clips of trains flash. An American flag flutters at the top of a building.
Quay Walden claims hairdresser Prashawn Fisher injured her 16-year-old twin daughters after she styled their hair. French Sean is countersuing Quay for defaming her online.
So I'm going to ask you again, when you told her that your mother, that your head hurt you, what did your mother do? And if she did nothing, say she did nothing.
She was contacting Miss Fran to see if she can alternate it or fix the ponytail, but we were being ignored.
No. What did your mother do when you told her that your head hurt you?
She contacted Miss Fran.
Well, what is she? She was an hour away. Your mother is your mother. My child says to me, my head hurts where this thing is. I say, well, just a minute. I'm familiar with how to do that. I can take it out and take a look at it and see where it's hurting you. Did your mother do that? The answer is yes or no.
No.
Good, sit.
Can I say something, please?
You could say whatever you want.
I just wanted to say this. Initially, of course, I spent all this money. I don't have it to be wasted. So when they were saying that the ponytails, I did lose. Again, I took the pins out and stuff, and I just wrapped it around that way. But when I took the ponytail completely down, they had these sores all in the middle.
Just a second. Your daughter just told me that she told you that her head hurt. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but if I had a daughter who said my head hurts and I had some sort of contraption in my head, especially since the party's over, I would say, since you told me before you're totally familiar with this process, I would say, well, just a second, let me take it out, as you ultimately did.
Yes.
Let me take it out. You don't need the curls anymore. Let me take it out.
That's my fault because trying to save money.
That's your fault.
Trying to save money.
Well,
and
then
I
you
have
save
to
money.
lose.
So what do you bring me a lawsuit
Can I
for?
please?
Then you were derelict in your responsibility as a mother.
Well, as far as the ponytail, when they were saying that, I was thinking personally that when I take it completely down, I didn't know the severity that lied beneath. Had I known the severity, because this never happened before.
Well, how could she know the severity? She didn't live with you or her.
I didn't think it was that drastic. But when I took it down completely, I have the videos, sores all in the middle of their head. And that's because when she did the hairstyle, what she did was she put So this hairstyles usually take maybe 2 hours. She finished in 40 minutes. And what she did was, instead of gluing every weft onto the hair ponytail, to save time, and as they said, her children were running around, she was trying to get out of there. She put the ponytail...
Just a second, you weren't there.
Well, they called me.
Just a second. They told you?
They called me.
They called you. Just a second. And the girls arrived late. She charged a late... Put your hand down.
That's not true, ma'am. That's not true.
Did you charge a late fee?
Yes, I did, and I do have proof.
And did they pay the late fee?
Yes, and I do have proof stating that she said they will arrive at 6:03. I have it.
And the appointment was for what time?
It was I have the appointment right here. It was at 5:30, and I have
100% correct.
Just a second. She's speaking.
Oh, I apologize. I'm
now
saying she's correct.
Okay. So
can I finish what I was saying? Please?
No. Now she's correct. Your daughters arrived late.
About the timing.
Your daughters arrived late. And you paid a late fee.
Okay.
That's a yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Sorry, this was last year. I'm sorry that I didn't remember that. But okay, they arrived.
But you have to remember, you already told me that the girls, sometimes they remember and sometimes they don't remember. Isn't that what you said before? They don't remember. They don't remember what they had yesterday.
They got the memory like Dory. Like, they can't even remember what they ate for breakfast yesterday. So I was just saying, so the way she did the hair, she didn't glue the wefts on. She even said that she didn't do it the way it was supposed to be done because she wanted to save me money on the quality bundles. What it should have been the glued wefts around the ponytail. What she did was put the rubber band extremely tight and used hairpins to hold the hair together instead of gluing the wefts. When I took out the ponytail, I promise you, the swords were so... I have
Just a
video.
second. I want to see the letter from the doctor where you took them.
Okay, so what I have as far as...
No, don't tell me what you have. I said I want to see the letter from the doctor.
Can I please...
Did you...
And may
Miss
I
Walden,
to see the derm...
Miss
So
Walden,
this is what I have.
Miss Walden, pay attention.
Yes, I'm very nervous. And
I don't care.
Anxiety.
I don't care. I don't care. If you were very nervous, you shouldn't come on television.
Absolutely.
Okay. Did you take your daughters to a dermatologist?
Okay, so I took them to the...
That's either a yes
it wasn't for
or
the
a no.
bald spot. I took them to the dermatologist, and they told me when I got here to tell you this. I took them to the...
No, you can't tell me what the dermatologist
that's
told you, Miss Walden.
I'm talking about here.
Did you take, after May 19th, when you took down the ponytail, did you take the girls immediately to the doctor? So the answer is no. On what date did you, for pay attention, on what date after May 19th did you take the girls to a doctor who is going to either testify or submit something in writing, because you say in your complaint, in which you are requesting $5,500, that as a result of their negligence, they now have noticeable bald spots. I took them to a dermatologist, and it was confirmed that their hair would never grow back in those spots. I want to see, since you don't have the dermatologist there, I want the dermatologist's report that he saw the girls on what date, what he found, and that this hair is not going to grow back. Okay. Do you have that?
I have a letter from the dermatologist that they gave me.
No, don't.
Here you go.
Just a second. May I see that?
Quay hands the papers to Kevin. He brings them to Judge Judy.
This is March of 2024.
And your producers asked me to go now. I traveled to get that.
Return this. March,
if you read it.
I'm not reading it. It was prepared for litigation. So what you're telling me, honestly, with this terrible condition, which you wanted to pay $5,500 for, you, as the mother, never took your daughters to a dermatologist.
That's
never
not true.
took your daughter.
I took them to the dermatologist. They went for a skin treatment. They went to get a chemical pill.
Date?
This was the ending of May, beginning of June. I'm sorry I don't have the exact date. I took them for their skin. I asked doctor, can you please look at the spot that they have in their hair, because they have sores from a ponytail they had. She said whatever she needs to say.
Pay attention to me. Don't look confused.
I'm a little confused.
Don't look confused.
Text appears coming up.
Whitney, would you read back to her the part where I started, if my daughters complain to me for one day?
Yeah, but the thing is,
don't speak. But just a second. You're asking me, I'm answering you, and then don't speak again. Zero.
Quay smirks. Views of the courthouse flash. Text appears, Judy Justice.
Quay Walden has accused hairdresser Franshawn Fisher of injuring her twin daughters after she styled their hair. Franshawn claims Quay defamed her online.
Now, if you took the girls to the doctors in May, and what you're trying to say is you took them for a facial skin condition, and while you were there, you said in passing, would you please look at their scalps? Then you should have, when you came today, brought the report from that dermatologist as to what that dermatologist found in May of 2023.
What if they didn't make any report of it or anything because I was asking her to take a look at it because I was concerned about it?
Your case is dismissed. You have no case.
So what if I
Your
can show you
case
the
is
picture?
dismissed. You have no case.
defamation
We're
of
done.
character.
Just a second. Now I'm going to, excuse me, she's absolutely right. She has a defamation case. I'm speaking.
Judge,
You're
can
done.
I please speak, please?
You're
Because you
done.
didn't even let me. I'm trying. She has a permanent bald spot in her head. The picture is literally right here. It's permanent.
Attention to me.
It's not a coincidence they both had swords in both of their heads. It was the technique that she did.
Miss
It's not a
Walden, Miss
coincidence.
Walden, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say to you what I really said subtly. If my daughter went to a hairdresser who put in some sort of an extension and said to me, her mother, the day after the event and all the pictures were taken, Mommy, my head hurts. The first thing that I would do as a mother was take out whatever it was that they were complaining about and look at their scalps and say, gee whiz, this looks nasty. Instead, you left it in for 6 days after your daughter told you that her head hurt. You left it in, not her, you did.
But Judge Judy,
not a but. Your case is dismissed. You're done.
Okay.
You're done.
All right.
Now I'm going to the counterclaim, and the counterclaim is that you defamed her in her business. Okay. Ms. Fisher?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'd like to see your proof of what you claim Miss Walden did to defame you in your business.
I have several posts.
May I see them, please?
Sure. It's by
You did a poor job.
She also...
just a second.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You want me to just throw you out? And then it's easy. Then I do your case easily.
No worries.
All right. Very good. Okay. Before I look at these, do you advertise your service on the internet?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Okay. And you understand that if you advertise your service on the internet, people are going to rate your service. They're going to be able to comment on it.
Correct.
You do understand that. And some comments will be good, and some comments will be bad. You understand that?
Yes, I am.
And you also understand that if the comment is negative because someone is dissatisfied with your service, which is a subjective evaluation, that they're going to say, I was dissatisfied with the service. You do understand that?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Now, with that,
Judge Judy,
I don't want to hear you.
Can you please tell me this, please?
I just
wanna know
told you
this.
why.
What is the coincidence as far as them both having swords in their head after she did it?
Would you read back?
Coincidence. It's not.
Whitney, would you read back to her the part where I started, if my daughters complain to me for one day?
Yeah, but the thing is,
don't
though,
speak.
but the
Just
thing-
a second. You're asking me, I'm answering you, and then don't speak again. 0. She's going to read back to you why, starting with, if my daughters complain to me. Can you start that, Whitney?
If my daughter went to a hairdresser who put in some sort of an extension and said to me, her mother, the day after the event, Mommy, my head hurts, the first thing that I would do as a mother was take out whatever it was that they were complaining about and take a look at their, I'm speaking, and you're not speaking anymore. And look at their scalps and say, gee whiz, this looks nasty. Instead, you left it in for 6 days.
But I took the hairpins
After
out.
your daughter told you that her head hurt. You left
Okay,
it
Can
in.
we dismiss this
I don't
without
wanna hear any
prejudice?
more
Because I
from
can
you.
take her elsewhere, and
I don't want to hear any more from you.
So can we
Put her out.
Great. Can we
Guys,
dismiss
Put her
this
out.
way, this way.
prejudice?
Put her
This way,
out.
this way.
Absolutely not. Out
But they,
with the
they
girls.
charging
Out
overcharging
with
to
the
do
girls.
Lulu.
Excuse me,
That
this way.
doesn't make sense.
Out with the girls.
Luxury
Out,
prices to do
out.
poverty
I am
work.
out.
Out.
Could you do it,
So
please?
because I didn't take it out in 3 days, I'm not a good mother.
That's
she didn't
absolutely
do her service.
correct. You
I
didn't
care
take
for
it
her
out on the
service.
first day. Let's
I
go.
could carry my
This way,
stuff.
this way.
I could carry my stuff.
This way. Go ahead. Just keep going.
I got it. Thank you.
Quay grabs her papers from Kevin. He escorts her out of the courtroom.
Okay, so this is much easier to do a counterclaim with the noise gone.
Whitney grins while she types.
Director, founder. I don't know what this is about.
That is her profile where she defamed me twice. So that was a
No,
photo.
she said unprofessionalism. She said sores, they have bald spots. 16-year-old girls reluctant to make things right until she was blasted on social media.
She also had other people, friends, aunties, whoever, I have that as well, come into my DM defaming me and my business.
Well, that's too bad. That has nothing to do with her. Your counterclaims dismissed. We're finished with this case. Done.
This court is adjourned.
The defendant is interviewed.
4 days later, she texted me. However, I did reach out to her first on Monday, asking her, can I see photos? Because they were so happy. I wanted to see what they look like. To the next day, her saying all of these irrational things. She will not be able to enter my salon or be a client.
Text appears, Chambers.
I think the best evidence of any situation is how it was handled in the moment, not, as you said, in hindsight. So in the moment, I agreed with you that if I went to you and said, you know, something really doesn't feel right. It feels really bad up there. Something's poking me, something's uncomfortable. Take the whole thing out. And at that moment, she would have discovered the larger sores as opposed to just removing a few of the pins and maybe trying to shift it around
Maybe there
a
were
little
no
bit.
sores.
Maybe there weren't at that time. There's no way to tell. So that would be my best advice to people is, you know, at the time when you first discover something, act quickly, act promptly.
If you're in a car accident and you feel as if you're injured, and if you go home and a month later you decide to go to the doctor and you say, by the way, is there anything you can give me for my neck? You know, last month I was in a car accident.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was ridiculous. What did you think about the defamation?
I think defamation is tricky because I understand as a business owner, someone leaving negative reviews is always going to rub you the wrong way. And someone leaving a negative review when they were in fact a client of yours, they did in fact get this service, and these things did in fact happen to them, and they're attributing it to you is not necessarily defamation. If they were never clients and they made comments about your business, or, you know, if they made allegations about you personally as an individual as opposed to the business or service you provided, that could be defamation. But just because someone says something bad about you on the internet does not automatically...
Because you've exposed yourself to that by advertising on the internet.
Sure. So I think people should really read the cause of action defamation a little more closely before they bring it.
Want justice? Go to judyjustice.tv.
She has given you no money, is that correct?
No money at all.
And she repossessed the car.
She is lying.
You paid zero.
Everything that she is saying is not true.
Prove it to me.
Just because I can't prove it, Judge Judy, that doesn't make it.
Well, if you can't prove it, I can't hear it.
This is Judy Justice. Previously on Judy Justice.
Is what you ultimately agreed to buy a 2004 Saturn Vue.
I end up getting the Saturn Vue, but the contract that I signed, I was supposed to buy the Chevy Impala.
If you're going to try to tell me that you were tricked, stop wasting my time. I don't want you to think that I'm stupid.
No, ma'am.
You took possession of the Saturn, went with her to motor vehicles, signed the documents which would indicate you're the owner of the Saturn. I don't want to hear Impala anymore. You knew now what you were buying.
Yes, I was supposed to give her $300 a month for the car that I'm not supposed to speak of.
I don't want to hear anything else about
What makes it difficult, Miss Judy, is because the Saturn was garbage.
That's your problem.
No, ma'am, it's not because...
I'm telling you, it's your problem.
Carla frowns.
And now, the conclusion. Ilana Junius is suing her former friend, Carla Walls, for the cost of a car and filing a false police report.
Okay, you got the car, you took it to a mechanic, it needed some work, it needed realignment, it needed new tires, whatever, and you called her and told her that it needed this and it needed that, and she said to you, give the car back to me.
Thank you.
Just don't speak. She said to you, give the car back to me. And you said, I'm not giving it back to you, I've already put money in the car. Don't speak. I've already put money in the car. I put in, whatever, tires, I put in alignment, I put in $800 in the car. She said, I'll give you back that money.
Yes.
Don't speak. Don't speak. I'll give you back that money less the time that you had and drove the car. You have emails to prove that?
I have lots of...
Just a second.
Yes.
I'd like to take a look at it.
Yes.
Don't speak.
Here go another one.
Don't speak. Now.
Here go another one.
Sir. Stand up.
Joseph Hill Jr. stands.
This is very important. You look at me. Put down the papers.
Carla sets papers down.
Is the Saturn parked in front of your house? Stop. Don't look over there. Look here.
I'm looking.
That's either a yes or a no. That's not hard. Is the Saturn parked in front of your house or on the side of your house or in the driveway?
No, ma'am.
Where is it?
It is currently in a, I want to say junkyard, because when I drove the Saturn, it broke down on me when we finally got it back.
Just a second. You got it back. We're going to get to that in a second. That's another part of the lawsuit. You got it back because you were driving it. Let's get this clear. After it was registered, you were driving it to work.
Yes.
And one day you drove it to work and she repossessed the car. And the police were called.
Yes.
Police came for whatever reason. I get into that maybe later. Yes. They gave you back the car.
Yes.
Yes. And you continued to drive the car to work in October.
Yes.
October. Don't shake your head. If you shake your head, I'm just going to dismiss your case.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Do you understand? You drove the car in October. We are now in March of 2024. You drove the car to work through the end of the time you were working for this company. That's a yes or a no.
No, ma'am.
What car did you drive?
The Chevy Impala.
Where did you get the Chevy Impala from?
The day that I called, on October 3rd, I called my mother and asked her, did she come get the car for my job? She said no. And I said the car wasn't there, and I found glass on the parking lot where I parked the car.
How do you get the Impala, is my question.
The way I got the car is because when I called my mom, she called her, and she came and got me from work in the white Impala.
The plaintiff?
Yes, ma'am.
Came and got you in the white Impala, and?
She took me home, and I was told that they had an agreement that I could use the white Impala for a while to drive back and forth to work.
Just to use?
Yes, ma'am.
And where was the Saturn?
I do not know. Where the Saturn was, I do not know.
When the police brought it back from her house after she repossessed it, where was it? This is all going to be reasonable for me.
Because the reason why I do not know is because I was not at home for a period of time. So
where were you?
I was either going downtown or I was at some of my friends' house.
Sit down. Sit down. You're useless. You're useless.
Yes.
But it all becomes clear. Did you let him use the Impala to go to work at any time?
The first week before we even talked about the Saturn, I did, because she was supposed to be my friend. I let her borrow my Impala for a week. And then she came and talked to me because I told her that Impala is my son's car. He was 16. I said, well, you can't keep this car. You can get this one. She said, well, I'll take this one. So the Apollo, but I never was
Just a second. He drove the Impala for a while to work.
Maybe 3 days. I let him borrow it for like 3 days. But that was way before this happened.
When did you repossess the car?
October the 3rd.
Okay. By October the 3rd, she has given you no money. Is that correct?
No money at all.
No money. And she can't prove she gave you any money.
Okay, no money at all.
No. And she can't prove she gave you any money.
No.
You repossessed the car.
I did.
After you repossessed the car, the defendant knew that you would repossess the car. Don't speak.
Yes.
And she called the police and reported it stolen. Is that correct?
Yes.
Stop. Is that correct? We have a police report. I want you to, just a second.
Part of it is.
You called the police.
Part of it is.
Just a second. You called the police, reported the car stolen, and you said to them, I think I know who stole it.
That part is.
Yes, well, then
that
just
part
say...
is, but everything that she is saying is not true.
I'm not talking about what she's saying. I'm talking about what I'm saying.
Text appears coming up.
She repossessed it from where he had driven it to work.
She vandalized it.
Just a second. I don't care if she put it in a bubblegum machine and it came out looking like Daffy Duck.
Carla frowns. Text appears, Judy Justice. Clips of trains flash. An American flag flutters at the top of a building.
Ilana Junius claims her former friend, Carla Walls, filed a false police report. Carla admits to calling the police.
You called the police and said the car was stolen. I think I know who stole it. That's what you told the police. Forget what she says. Listen to what I'm saying. Police report. Is that what you told the police?
Yes.
Okay. And you went with the police to get the car?
Yes.
Did you tell the police that there had been a sale of the car?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, you knew that the car wasn't stolen. You knew that the car was repossessed because you didn't pay any money for it. In any event, The plaintiff was arrested for felony auto theft.
That's not true, though. But
Can I see?
She's manipulating everything.
No.
Can I
What was said? She's manipulating. When on the 21st. The reason why he was in the Impala because the Impala was the one that I was supposed to buy.
I don't care.
Yes, I did.
I don't
yes,
care.
indeed. I
just
did.
a second. I don't care. You're a grown woman.
I gave her money.
You're a grown woman.
People gave her money on my behalf. She had money, and the car was fixed on my behalf.
Just a second.
And I asked her for my money back.
Prove to me that people gave her money on your behalf for the sale of the Saturn. Prove it to me. Say nothing. A witness or a document that people gave her money on your behalf. Okay.
The only reason why I can't is because the person.
Where is the? I don't care why you can't. If you can't, you can't. I told you to put the papers down.
Just because I can't prove it, Judge Judy, that doesn't make it true. Untrue.
Well, if you can't prove it, I can't hear it. This is a courthouse.
But she's
and if you can't prove it,
everything.
Okay.
And she is lying.
Now, what did you do with the Saturn?
Thank you.
She vandalized the Saturn.
I want you to tell me what you did with the Saturn. Where
when the
is
police
it?
gave it back to me, Miss Alana vandalized the Saturn. The Saturn quit on the highway.
Madam.
I don't know about
She vandalized. She was at the auto zone. She followed me all that day while we were pushing the car out of the road. She followed us. She vandalized the car because she was mad because the police gave it back. She's the reason why the Saturn is not working. She is the reason. She cut the belt.
Madam, pay careful attention to me. She repossessed the car because you didn't pay for it. The
No,
car,
I did.
I don't want you to answer me. You're not to answer me. Your son drove the car to work.
Every day.
Just a sec. If you interrupt again, I'm just going to rule in her favor on the whole case. Do you understand? Didn't dismiss yours. That, you have a counterclaim. It's going to be dismissed. If you open your mouth again.
Okay.
Okay? I don't know how you feel and how in your convoluted mind you're right, but you took a vehicle, you allowed your son to use it, and he did, in fact, use it. I don't care if he used it for a half hour. You went to motor vehicles and you signed on as the owner. You paid $0. You were supposed to pay $3,000. What happened was there was more work that had to be done on the car than you had anticipated. And you wanted to reduce the price. It's not a new story. I had to put in so much money, and therefore I want a reduction in what we agreed on, which was $3,000. And she said, give me the car back. She did offer to give you the car back because you responded to it. You didn't give her the car back. You didn't pay her any money. She repossessed it from where he had driven it to work. And if you don't know where the car is now, she's entitled to her $3,000. That's so far.
Vandalized
Just a
car.
second. I don't care if she put it in a bubblegum machine and it came out looking like Daffy Duck. You hadn't paid a penny for it.
Yes, I did.
No, don't say it. Prove it. Prove that you paid any money for the car. Even your texts don't say that you paid any money for the car.
Amen.
Okay, now let's move on to the next cause of action, because originally I was just going to throw it out, but I see that I'm dealing with somebody as thick as a wall. Can I see the police report, please, where you were arrested for grand theft?
I wasn't arrested.
Good, then you have no claim.
No, I do.
Just a second, let me see the police report.
I'm sorry. They did come after me.
Don't speak. Okay. Police told you if you didn't return the car, they would arrest you and take you to jail for auto theft. So you returned the car.
Yes, but...
That's a yes.
I did return the car.
Good.
But they did still come after me because I asked him, I said, I'd never been in jail before. So I said, call the sergeant or something because I'm not going to jail for something I didn't do.
Just a second, you returned the car.
I did, but...
And you didn't go to jail.
They sent it to the prosecutor's office. They came after me.
Just a second.
The grand theft auto.
Just a second. Just a second. What happened to the case? You returned the car that day. You went into your house. Police were there. They took the car back from your house.
Right.
Okay, and you went back into your house.
Right.
And then you got something in the mail.
Yes, in January, I think. Yes, I
speak.
did. I did.
May I see that?
did. That's just the plea.
Don't
Okay,
speak.
I'm sorry.
More documents are given to Judge Judy.
Oh, just a second. You pled guilty.
No, I did not.
And that's what it says.
No, I didn't. Okay, but no, I have the dismissal letter because I showed her
May I
all
see
the
that?
proof. I did go before the prosecutor, and when I showed all the proof, she said that she'll rethink it, and then she dismissed everything. I didn't plead guilty to that.
Okay, so the case was closed, and the case was closed in January of 2024. Were you contacted between the time that the car was picked up at her house and January of 2024 by the police?
Yes, ma'am.
When?
I had got something in the mail. I don't remember the date, but when I got it in the mail and I saw that she was facing charges.
Now, just a second. What did you do with the document? Did it say, do you want to pursue the charges or do you want to drop the case?
I said that Miss Alana has children. She has a daughter over there in China.
Just a second.
I'm telling you what I said.
I want to know if you said you wanted to pursue the case.
I did not want to pursue the case on those marriages because she had a daughter.
I don't care.
Text appears coming up.
I just want to know where the car is now.
Give me a second.
No.
The car broke down.
I want to know where the car is now.
Views of the courthouse flash. Text appears, Judy Justice.
Ilana Junius wants her former friend, Carla Walls, to pay for the 2004 Saturn Vue she purchased from Alana. Carla claims she made cash payments towards the car and owes her nothing.
You said you didn't want to pursue the case.
No, I did not. I didn't want to pursue the case.
Okay. And do you have any evidence to the contrary? Is not an answer. Do you have any evidence to the contrary?
But on her countersuit,
Okay.
she sent papers.
Very good. Very good. The car isn't there anymore. They don't have the car. You sent it to a junkyard. Is that
No,
what you...
ma'am. No,
Where
ma'am.
is it?
The car broke down. She vandalized the car.
So where is the car now?
I don't know. The car broke down in front of
I want to know the last time you saw the car. Where was
Okay,
it?
he wasn't with me the last time I saw the car.
No. When you don't
But he was
when
there
you
the
can't
first time it
remember
broke
what
down.
I'm asking you, important
I
things.
remember where the car was.
The last time you
Yes,
saw
ma'am.
it.
The last time he saw it.
Well, then if that's not the last time it was seen, then what do I care?
Okay.
The last time I seen the car, I was on my way home I was driving the car. The car broke down on me.
Date?
The date was October 29th. I was driving the car down Sagamore.
And it broke down?
Yes, ma'am.
Sit. So you were driving the car the month of October. You were driving the car the month of October, if this was October 29th. Now the car broke down, he said, on October 29th.
No, ma'am. It's not. The car broke down.
I don't
Okay,
care.
ma'am, please.
I just want to know where the car is now.
Give me a second.
No.
The car broke down the same day that she gave the car back. The car broke down.
I want to know where the car is now. Is it in a junkyard? That's what he says. Is it trashed? Is it in your house? Where is it?
The last time I seen the car, I was pushing the car down South Street because the car broke down in front again. The car broke down in front of Outback Steakhouse.
I don't care.
We pushed, wait a minute. I pushed
Just
the car.
tell me where the last time is you saw the car.
I'm telling you.
I don't want a whole story. Where was it? Give me a street.
I pushed it behind Outback Steakhouse because it broke down on the highway. And so it wouldn't quite, I had to physically get out and push the car off the highway. And a couple of guys helped me push the car off the highway.
So, is that the last time you saw the car?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you take the license plates off?
No, ma'am.
You left your license plates on. Your license plates, they're attached to your name.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't believe a word you're saying.
Oh,
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $3,000. Your counterclaim's dismissed. We're done.
This court is adjourned.
Carla and Alana grab their papers.
It's horrible how people can manipulate the system.
She did make a good decision.
And they can manipulate evidence. nothing that she said in there was true.
Basically, everything she said was a lie. Her son was driving the car every day to work.
The contract was about the Chevy Impala. We had no contract for the Saturn View.
So they lied, but that's okay. I did get the money for my car, so that's good.
I asked the prosecutor not to prosecute. I told him that she got a daughter in China and she got kids in high school and she's a mother, and I didn't want to see her prosecuted.
I mean, basically, I just started crying about the situation because I could have went to jail for 350 days. You know, my kids, everything would have been gone.
You know, I just want to thank Judge Judy because, I mean, hey, it's not what happens in life, it's what you can prove. And if you can't prove an incident, then, like she said, she can't hear evidence on it. So I couldn't prove my case.
She shrugs.
I couldn't prove it.
No friendship there. I can't be friends with people like that lie, manipulate, and use people. I can't be friends with stuff like that.
Text appears, Chambers.
Good takeaway is that it's very important if you're dabbling in the business of selling used cars, whether it's 1, whether it's 15, to have some level of specificity. I mean, I saw glimpses of the contract, or what they consider to be a contract, and there's no mention of what you're contracting for. There's no name of the car. There was a little bit of specificity regarding the payments, but all of that is sort of null and void if you don't know what you're contracting for. So to have very clear, cut out what you're contracting for, what type of car, what year car, maybe throw the mileage on there for sake of a full picture, and then discuss whatever breakdown of payment you were discussing, how much it's going to be up front, how much if you're going to allow monthly payments, what the repercussions are for not making those monthly payments. And if that's your business, like the plaintiff said, was sort of a side business for her, selling these used cars, you would think she would have sort of a boilerplate template for that sort of thing. It would have cleared up a lot of confusion that we had here today about.
You can get that online.
Yeah.
They have these things online, bills of sale for cars. You know, just fill it out. In a contract, you need an offer, an acceptance of the offer, what the offer is about, whether it's about for property, whether it's about for services, whatever it is.
And the as-is portion is very important as well, which is where you list in the contract, in that part at the bottom, sold as is or not, whatever you agree upon.
Whatever your agreement was.
Sure.
Anyway, but if the general rule is if you buy a used car, you're buying it as is. And if there's a contract, a written contract, anything outside of that written contract
usually is not allowed.
It's called puffing.
Yeah.
This car was driven by a little old lady to the Piggly Wiggly on Friday every week in Florida.
Yeah.
It had no mileage on it.
There's a reason that used car salesmen get a bad rep. It's for that sort of puffery that is allowed.
Well, that's not, and that's inadmissible.
Exactly.
It's just what's inside.
It's in the 4 corners of the contract.
Right.
So it better be good.
Have you been cheated? Go to judyjustice.tv.
This program has been described by
গ্লিচ না কি আল্লাহ জানে
ভাই এইখানে যদি মিস্টার ট্রিপলার ভাই লাইভ করে আমরা কি তার ইয়াতে জয়েন করতে পারবো?
হ্যাঁ
ভাই আমাকে নিয়ে যাও তো।
ট্রিপল ভাই আবার লাইভ করবে না, এখানে করবে না কখনো করলে। আসো চলে আসো, ঝটপট করে চলে আসো আমাদের লাইভে, চলে আসো সবাই, আসো 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 চান্দুরা স্টার্ট।
আসো চান্দুরা, ভাই আপনাদের সবাই তো ফুল। হ্যাঁ, ভাই